I'm joined by the person I last streamed with. I think it was before I got here in November. Last time I was joined by Cody. We were talking about
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Cody,
Yeah,
how are you?
I am exhausted. I'm looking forward to talking about 2023 because we're talking about the bottom ones, which are interesting for one reason, and the top ones, which are interesting for a much better reason. But talking about the year that was 2023 has been fucking me up for the last week because it's been just crunch time.
He says he's tired. I'm staring at 3 a.m. dead in the face.
Hey, give me a little fucking slack, okay? I just watched a January Blumhouse movie, okay?
Nobody told you to do that.
I did it for all of you. You don't realize what I put myself through.
Yeah. And anybody who knows anything about the first release of the year, especially horror, knows that you're in for a painful ride. Yeah. So, what was it? The pool, whatever the hell, what is it
Night
called?
Swim.
Woof.
Yeah. Took
Yeah.
5 minutes to come up with the script and the title.
So far, it's number one for 2024.
Yeah. Lead the pack.
Number one and the bottom. So we can start with the bottom and I I think we both have the same bottom, even though you've seen 5 times as many movies as I have. It was kind of a rough year for me. The second half of 2023, if I caught maybe 10 movies, that's overestimating. But we both, regardless of how many we saw, we both have this same bottom, if I'm not mistaken.
I think 80% of the movie viewing world has the same bottom number one, which has been a joy to see. I've never taken pleasure in watching something just fucking crash and burn, but I've watched so many worst of lists and be like, there it is, number one.
I was going to beat around the bush, but I don't think you've ever gotten tangled with a studio or a filmmaker the way you did last year with this production company.
Nope.
Yeah. So like you popped your cherry on this movie and
what a one to bust on.
Well deserved, I guess. I mean, I don't know many people that would side with the filmmakers on this, and the bottom for both of us. I have it at 45. Cody, that number will come up over the weekend. A shout out to Cody Leach. Saturday night.
Maybe. It depends on my energy level. At some point in the next 3 or 4 days, you'll get that fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's
So
probably going to be like a 4-hour shoot. So
yeah, well, I poked in on Sean, and his was like 6.
Dude, I watched the first like half an hour of Sean's, and then I stopped to shoot and then edit my most surprising and disappointing movies of the year. I edited that fucker and put it up and came back, and he still had like an hour left. I was like, oh my God, how many super chats have you been going through, Sean?
Yeah. So
I've never done more than a 4-hour live stream. I don't know how you can do 6+. I think my brain would fry.
Yeah, you need somebody else in there. You need bathroom breaks. That like,
yes.
So pizza rolls, stealing the show here. It is part one. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which I'll give credit for one thing, and I really wish the entire movie was this, but the little animated sequence in the beginning I thought was really unique.
Yeah.
And then they decided to stop that. And
yeah. I mean, whenever they announced it, I saw right through it. It just felt like something where it's like, we're just going to do something rated R and bloody with a childhood thing to create buzz. And I mean, the poster, the Winnie the Pooh mask looked like dog shit. The only reason why, aside from the fact that everybody wanted me to go and see it, and I would have got comments for a month asking where my review was, the only reason that I actually decided to go to the theater and check it out was because I started to be optimistic that maybe it would be one of those so bad that it's good type movies. Like maybe they're really going to lean into it and have some goofy, campy fun with the Winnie the Pooh lore. Was that what you call it? But you watch it and it's so insulting how low effort the fucking thing is, to where it's quite literally like Wrong Turn 17 only the hillbilly killer has some spirit Halloween Winnie the Pooh mask on. And the animated segment, the reason why pretty much everybody, if you're going to give credit to anything, gives it to that is because that's the only section of the movie that's actually Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
The rest of it has nothing to do with Winnie the Pooh. It's just Winnie the Pooh skin on the killer, and you have what, 5 random fucking 20-something-year-olds who can't act that are in this random ass house in the middle of the woods, and then a bear and a pig show up every once in a while and kill them.
Yeah, and they're wearing like vinyl masks that just, I don't know. It looks like anything you can get at like the local Halloween town or whatever
Yeah.
every month that they throw up, and they didn't look very expensive. And the thing that I thought was hysterical when you put out your review and tweeted it or X'd it, whatever the shit I'm supposed to say, past tense for putting something up on X, formerly known as Twitter. They replied and said, "Well, at least we're getting 5 times our budget for the sequel." And it's just like, what the fuck? What are you talking about future budget for? Why don't you explain why the fuck you made the decisions in the first one?
Yeah, they told on themselves. They literally just confirmed what my issue was in my tweet. I was like, "Oh, so it's just about the money, fucking idiots."
Oh, art. Very good art.
Yeah, that tweet was conviently removed once they decided to shine a spotlight on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking
Oh, no,
assholes.
he's the villain. He's the villain. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was no surprise that the only people that came to their side was other low budget independent filmmakers who I've never heard of. I mean, like, I got blocked and shunned by the guy who made like Puppet Master 14 or something like that. And I'm like,
no,
oh
that's the best
man,
one.
damn, I can count myself out for that fucking red carpet premiere. It was just so ridiculous. Like, and that's the thing that colors the whole thing. Like, if this was just like some random VOD release that got a little bit of buzz for a week because it's this goofy little Winnie the Pooh movie and everybody watches it and laughs about how shitty it is, like that would have been the extent of it. But the whole thing with this fucking soft-headed ass production company is what has just made me just despise this movie and despise this, fucking vomit saying this cinematic universe that is coming, where we already less than a year later have a second one that's going to be coming. We've got Bambi, we've got Peter Pan. Dude, Steamboat Willie went into the public domain on January 1st, 2024. We didn't even make it to fucking lunch on January 1st. And there was 2 movies announced with posters. One of them had a trailer ready to go. It's going to be, I'm telling you, we're going to look back on this shit in like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, whenever it starts to stop. We're going to look back and say that this little trend, this little gimmick is the worst fucking thing that has happened to horror in decades. Like, think back to how sick all of us were about low budget garbage found footage movies when that was like every January and February, there was like 8 of them. We're going to think that about these little public domain cash grab shit. I guarantee you. And like, maybe there will be one person out there, maybe there will be one filmmaker out there that actually has fun with it and makes a halfway decent movie. I hope. But it ain't going to come from that production company. And the Steamboat Willie one being from somebody different. I think they made the mean one, which I haven't seen. The fact that they had it all ready to go by lunch on January 1st gives me no fucking hope that it's going to be any different. Just get there first. Doesn't matter how good it is. Get there first. We're going to make our money back.
See, the sad thing about this, I mean, this movie is a couple of years ago. There was a movie that they like guerrilla filmed in Disney World that they shot, they converted it to black and white, and they made like this Escape from Neverland. I want to say it's called whatever, the Escape from something, and it was filmed guerrilla style at Disney World, and they made it like a horror type movie, but they didn't have proper, licensing for anything. So it was really unique, and they certainly weren't looking for a cash grab. They were trying to do something different, and that is just going to get snowed in from all this other dreck. And I don't know, I shared a article with you, and it looked like perhaps it was just like an image because it was over here, BBC something, but it looked like the same fucking getup that Winnie the Pooh had, where it was a latex Mickey mask, and it was just like, What the fuck?
It's a dude in a hockey jersey with a Mickey mask.
Oh no! I was hoping it was just like some random creep at a Comic-Con or some shit, but I guess
And the
not.
thing that kills me is like if I was an independent horror filmmaker that was busting my ass trying to break out, I would be fucking livid at this shit. And I certainly wouldn't have been one of the ones coming to their aid on fucking Twitter about it. I would have been like, you fuckers just shit this out and you're making $5 million on $100,000 and you're going to have this whole cinematic universe that's going to flood independent horror filmmaking with garbage. How many people are going to watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey out of pure morbid curiosity and pass on the next 12 legit independent horror films that actually are worth a damn because they already spent $20 at a Fathom event for that shit? That's what's actually harmful to independent horror filmmaking, not my fucking tweet.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because the fact that you paid, you're a accredited Rotten Tomatoes critic, and you paid to see that. So it wasn't even Cody the critic that was talking about that movie. It was Cody the customer who paid twice as much for that fucking ticket than,
everything else.
Yeah, whatever the fuck else you could have chose that night.
I've referenced it a number of times. I paid more money to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey in theaters than I paid to see Avatar: Way of the Water, a movie that was in some form of production for a decade in IMAX 3D. And the analogy that I used in my top 10 worst, which was again going for just the take the critic thing out of it, just consumer experience. If you walk into a fucking restaurant that charged you $20 to sit down and they hand you a microwaved Hot Pocket on a paper plate, you're not going to have some opinions about that.
Yeah.
But the cook wants to run out and say, I've been working all day on this. I don't give a fuck. Well, you shot it for 8 days out in the hot sun. You want credit for that?
I'm getting 5 times as much for the next meal I make.
Yeah. And they say that we only had 8 days to shoot it. Like that's supposed to be like a sympathy bait for them. It's like, where did you spend that $100,000 on that you only had 8 fucking days to shoot this thing?
Exactly. Like, so why are you charging me $20 then? Do you recognize, because you're preloaded with these excuses. So why not have the price reflect the lack of effort, however restricted it may be, that you're putting into this thing? Like the excuses that they came up with, it was just like, you're making yourself look worse and worse.
Yeah. I mean,
and I'm just glad
that I touched such a nerve. It's like, there must be a lot of fucking truth about what I said.
Well, yeah. I mean, anybody like it bothers me. Not bothers me, but the fact that they had that animated thing, like who the fuck worked on that? That seemed like unique and well done. And then you have this lazy, drooling vinyl mask where like why is he drooling honey? Like what the fuck?
They don't talk. That way you don't have to write dialogue. It was just, like, all down the way was just like fucking hell. Like remember the viewing experience where I see the animated bit and I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And then they immediately go with, and then they never spoke again. And I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. That way you don't have to be creative with lines or, write dialogue. It's just mask.
And the one out of the lot that you would figure to be like the closest thing to a serial killer, in my opinion, would be Eeyore, because he's like always depressed and shit. And they take him out of the equation very quickly. And it's just like, well, he's miserable. Like you could start from there and I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it's the cash grab you think it is.
No, it absolutely is. And the only defense that I hear from it are people that are like proudly in defense of garbage, which I'll never understand. I think Sean had a super chat earlier that basically sums up. Hate to say this, but Winnie the Pooh is a product of slasher fans accepting garbage, which I really don't get. If you go to a movie just for kills and not story, you need to look in the mirror.
Very good, Sean.
Yeah,
could not have said it better myself.
That's the thing right there. It's just, why is this good enough? I would be pissed if I paid $7 to watch this. I paid fucking like 16, and some people paid 20.
It's not even that. Like the horror community, like you got to support horror creators. No, you don't. You don't have
Yeah,
to
they're
create.
not, that was the other, you're not entitled to my money because you
Yeah.
shot a movie in the sun for 8 days. I'm sorry.
8 days. And like, somebody else said it before, that, like, close to $1 million, their budget was. So, like, I I mean,
I thought it was 100,000. It was 100,000, but
even that.
they walked away with over 5,000,000. And that's the other thing too. It's like, again, I hate to keep going back to this because I've talked about this way more than I care to give them attention for, but good on you. I'll commend the business savviness of being
Sure.
able to turn $100,000 into over 5,000,000. You win. You are the victor. Now take your fucking your criticism for your garbage movie
Yeah.
and look past all of that
Take your
because you
medicine.
got $5,000,000 and you got a goddamn cinematic universe coming down the pipe. You have nothing to care about what anybody on the internet says, but
Yeah.
everybody pretty much in unison are saying the same thing.
Right. Right. And like the cynical approach, like, I won't name names. I feel like that has become a thing in the fan film community where people
Oh,
just
absolutely.
have this blueprint, and it's like, well, I can just cut corners and do all this and that, and
You
you
get the
know,
same defenses for that
yeah,
too, or it's just like this isn't very good. Well, they made it for nothing. It's for fun. It's this and that.
y-
Okay, cool.
yeah,
And I didn't pay for it, but I'm still allowed to fucking say what my opinion was, and it's
right.
not very good.
And you're still like that's the other thing too. People equate money, but they don't equate time. And time is the one thing that we cannot get back. We can
Yeah.
get money back. Like, I wasted an hour of my time where I could have, I don't know, helped sick kids somewhere. But like, no, I watched your stupid fucking bullshit cynical project.
Yeah.
I could have watched The Godfather again, but no, I watched your stupid. I don't know. I don't understand why the horror community is just so willing to accept thing. Oh, my favorite thing in movie, and I get to see it again, and I'm okay with that. And
It
why?
infuriates me because those people will turn around and say like you're too critical, you're too harsh, and it's like because I have standards
Yeah,
because I don't want to give my time and money away to dog shit. And again, if you're self-aware enough to where you're like, I legitimately enjoy trashy movies, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't then take the attitude of like everybody who doesn't is just up their own ass and is expecting too much. No, that's how you get garbage movies by saying, this is okay, this is good enough. Give me more.
yeah, yeah, and just like if it's not the producers or filmmakers, the horror community seems to have like 4 or 5 preloaded excuses. Like, what do you want?
It's
It's
just
better than
horror.
nothing.
It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
slasher.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean it's just a slasher? Why did you build your fandom around it's just a slasher? Like, why don't you think better of the entertainment that you're taking in? The different excuses that they load is just
I
familiar is now a
I had
horror
an
to me.
interaction on Twitter that kind of exemplifies this entire thing. So I shared whenever the Mickey's Mousetrap thing was getting shared around on January 1st and said we're gonna look back on this as the worst trend in horror history. And a guy chimed in and says, "Not me. Stuff like this is what the slasher genre is all about.
No,
It's great to be a slasher fan right now."
no, it's not.
I asked if they were on drugs. He said, "No, just having realistic expectations of what the slasher genre is. Slasher genre should always be like that."
What?
And I said, "So realistically, they should be effortless trash? Good to know."
Did they have a retort to that?
It's not effortless trash. There is effort. Slasher films are always about blood, guts, gore, carnage, candy, and the kills. It was set up that way. And then I stopped replying. But that's that fan embodied. It's like tits and blood. Cool. Don't do anything else.
Was there nudity in Winnie the Pooh? Blood and honey?
I think so for like a moment. There was a chick in a hot tub or something like that, but I don't remember, and I'm never rewatching
Yeah.
it. So
I'm not putting it back on. Whoa, hold on. James, thank you, $50 super chat. Sorry I'm late. I hope both of you are doing great, doing better as far as I'm concerned, but Cody's tired. Um, Cody, me and my wife just got through watching your top 10 of 2023. Both got emotional when you were talking about your number one. We both love your channels and content, so thank you. Thank you,
thank you, James. Hey,
Cody.
we'll circle back around to that soon. We're gonna be we're
Yeah.
only got up to go. We've only got an upward trajectory from here.
We're closing with the good.
Yeah,
We're open with the bad.
Starting off swimming in the shit, and we're gonna come out smelling like roses by the end.
Gray, that's a brilliant point. Why make it only a slasher? Like if you have an idea, like a tweak on something that's already something else, why make it a like why not make Winnie the Pooh but a rom-com or so? Like
Because
why does it always have
just about doing it as
cheap?
cheaply and as quickly as possible. How long does it take to come up with the most generic slasher setup? You and I could write that in the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe,
And
Sally, Bruce, Mackenzie, they all go off into the woods to party at a house, and oh my God, 2 people come to the house, but they're wearing a pig mask and a bear mask.
dude, I'm telling you, with your audience, if you just said, I want to do blank but horror and have no script, I guarantee you would get $50,000 just on premise. Like that's
It's depressing, but you're
it's a
probably
sad
correct.
state. I'm pretty sure I am. I don't know if I would bet on it, but
Mhm. Or that 50 grand?
no, that person seems to have missed the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, dice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just depressing to me. It's just I'm at least glad that everybody is giving the movie its justified licks. You know,
Yeah.
normally most people don't bother with this stuff. And that's the other side of it. It's like if you're going to push this thing wide and you're going to make it a Fathom event and you're going to put it in front of significantly more eyes than it ever would have on VOD where it belonged because you want the payday for it, well, then you got to take the good with the fucking bad. The
Yeah.
critics are going to fucking eviscerate you when they would have never even heard of you. And the people that spent $20 are going to be pissed and they're going to tell everybody how dog shit your movie is.
Well,
You got their money. They're
yeah.
not going to refund it.
And that's what it goes back to. If you're going to have the balls to charge $20,
Yeah.
you better eat up. Take your medicine and just deal with it. And you know, laugh all the way to the bank because you've already clearly made your decision. It's the bank. It's not the art. 8 days? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. And these fuckers sometime back in November apparently did like a Instagram live where they were trashing me and the Haunted Hippie because we had the audacity to call their movie out for what it is. And
She actually gave it a full 1.5 stars. So
yeah,
everybody else
she did a video that was trashing them for the whole Twitter thing with me, where they were like, she was like, that's fucking embarrassing, and I was like, thank you, right on. That was kind of so we're public enemy number 1 at over at Jagged Edge.
Oh no! So you won't be getting a screener for the sequels, is what you're saying?
Part of me kind of hopes that there's going to be some random character that gets gutted in the second one named Cody Leach, and I'm going to have everybody like comment like, "Hey, they made a joke," and I'm going to be like, "That was creative. Good job." See what that feels
I
like?
Inspired you.
Yeah, exactly.
You used.
I made your product better.
Yeah. So I don't like. I just checked my Letterboxd, and everybody that I'm friends with on Letterboxd, Haunted Hippie gave it the strongest score with 1.5 stars out of 5. Everybody else, 0.5 star. So
I think it was at 3% last time I looked on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me double check.
Critic or audience?
Critic. I don't think audience ever broke 50.
Oh.
Which is the other funny thing is like it'd be the one thing if it was like a 99% movie and I was the asshole that dropped it down from 100. Like, okay, then I understand maybe having a little bone to pick with. Yeah, 3%, 61 reviews, 3%, and audience score is 50.
50. Guys. Oh. Yeah, that's bad. Viz, what's going on? Long time no see.
But it's that typical fan audience score bullshit where you have 1 stars and 5 stars. Nothing actual like nuanced.
And that's like the other thing too. Like how many people have stock in, I don't even know the name. What was the name of the you just said it, the name of the studio?
Jagged Edge Productions.
Yeah. Do you have do you benefit if they do well? Like why are you 5-starsing this shit? Like I don't get it.
They're so fucking soft, dude. It might even be them. Just buying tickets to their own shit, verifying it on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's gross. Ugh. So we have different second from bottoms.
Yes, we do.
And I've not seen yours, so by all means.
Smart choice. My runner up for worst for me is Natty Knox, a movie that I knew from the beginning was probably not going to be very good, but curiosity got the best of me. When the trailer played, and really all their advertising is, we got Daniel Harris, we got Bill Moseley, we've got Robert Englund from the director of Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. And that's what got everybody buzzing for a week or two, where they were tagging me in the trailer. You see, this is going to be great. A reunion with Danielle and the director. And the trailer looked bad. And I don't, if anything, it's more of a red flag for me if you're only advertising horror alumni as your cast. God love the people. I love their work that they're known for,
people. But they are.
It's not, I don't think, a controversial statement to say that most horror alumni that do the con circuits, they don't get good work anymore.
They're not getting Hollywood work for a reason. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily their talent. It's just that the movies that they get, they're very much cash and checks, which is fine. Everybody's got to pay the bills. No disrespect whatsoever with that. The movie's awful. It is it starts off with this backstory about these witches, and there's a witch hunt, and they find the one who is the witch and they burn her. And then they fast forward to modern times, and this town is like consumed with this legend of the witch. And they do this game called Natty Knocks, which is like a play on Ding Dong Ditch, where, you're going to knock 3 times. And if the witch is going to open the door, something weird like that. So that's the setup of the movie. Yeah, they set up the movie. And then these 3 kids, or these 2 kids, go off and they do the Natty Knocks. And Bill Moseley is the person at the house that they play Natty Knocks at. And they look through the window and they see him killing somebody or beating the shit out of somebody. And Bill Moseley is doing his best, like, chop top version number 5 performance here, which is what you hire Bill Moseley to do for the most part. Mm. And so the movie focuses on these kids that know that Bill Moseley is this killer, and they're trying to get attention over to him without him, sniffing that they're trying to get eyes on him. And that and the witch storyline never really comes back into play until like the last 5 minutes of the movie out of nowhere. And it's just, Daniel Harris does well with what they give her, which is almost nothing. Bill Moseley does what you hire Bill Moseley to do, so credit for that. Robert Englund does fairly well in his like 2 scenes, but he's barely in the movie. Everybody else that's actually the focus of the movie is god awful. It was just, it's a perfect example of bad horror filmmaking that you try to hide with big names. So it was like 2 months after it came out. It was very cheap. I rented it out of curiosity. It was hard for me not to turn it off. It was very bad. Which sucks. I when you have those names, I wish that it was awesome. I wish it was like this cool little hidden gem, but it absolutely wasn't. It was everything that I hoped it wouldn't be.
Please tell me Danielle Harris kept her clothes on.
She did.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to see her redeem whatever Rob Zombie did to, like, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking with the Halloween movies where she got murdered, right? She
survived the first movie, but then she was killed in the second one. I think they found her naked, but it wasn't as gratuitous with showing it. But that was the weird thing about it. It was like, okay, fine. Like, if it was anybody else, 2 teens are about to fuck, but it's the actress that played the little girl.
It's royalty.
It's like, great, Rob. You showed us her tits. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. There's something odd about that. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as like the same franchise, like, oh, let me go back and watch the old ones. Oh, wait, that's the kid. Wait a minute. Wasn't that the girl who was naked on the floor? What the? Yeah. It's just a bizarre choice. And it's good to see that that's not I mean, I'm sure she's done other stuff since then where she didn't have to derobe, but it just left a weird taste in my mouth. And I was like, I really hope that's.
I mostly know her from her podcast now. She does a podcast with Scout Taylor Compton, the one that played Lori, and they've kind of carved out a nice little section of horror podcast stuff for them. So that's what I mostly know her from, outside of all the things that I grew up on. She was in everything when I grew up. Mom, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. She had a role in Boy Meets World for one episode, a couple of Disney movies, and then you start getting into the horror stuff.
I forget she was in Don't Tell Mom. Thanks, Sydney. Or whatever the hell she said. I forget that. Yeah, that fucking classic, that movie.
That's the most 90s movie ever. When you go back, it's like it just bleeds 90s.
Yeah, isn't the brother like fucking obsessed with making waffles or something like that? Am I misremembering?
He's a metalhead stoner, and then like he gets like a lecture, and he starts to turn himself around by watching Julia Child.
Yeah, and waffles was one of the things that he...
man. Yeah.
yeah, and then the brother gets like a TV entertainment center or something like that. Yeah.
It's the most.
I got it from Petty Cash.
The whole fucking room worth of shit. And then nowadays it's just a little bar.
Yeah. You just put the TV on the wall. Everything's.
We have officially redeemed the stream. We went from dog shit to talking about pure comfort.
We got to sprinkle some nostalgia in there somewhere. Yeah. So my second to last, which might be some sort of segue for you. I know Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was something that you got tangled up with, but fans of my second least favorite film of 2023 certainly got on you in your comment section, and
sweet controversy.
Yeah, Nefarious, which
my number 7 on my top 10 worst.
Wow. Wow, there's 6 movies before that, huh?
There was some dog shit.
Yeah, 2 directors. To be fair, Sean Patrick Flanery wasn't awful. He did seem like he had some 80s, 90s type. What is the correct medical term for? Is it DID? Dissociative.
It felt like he was channeling Primal Fear a bit too much.
Yeah.
Where it's like my device to show you when I'm switching from demon to vessel is to stutter.
Yeah. That's funny that you brought that up. I just watched that recently, and
fucking
for
awesome
for as much credit as Edward Norton got, like when they're forget it. Primal Fear is a brilliant movie, regardless of how dated it is. But Nefarious, it's one of those movies that I feel like if it didn't have so much praise from a specific group, maybe it wouldn't be that much worth. Like, the fuck, this movie's terrible. Why is everybody making a big stink about this? But it did.
I was blindsided
by the comments or
by the amount of comments. Like it's one, like I had no idea what the fuck this movie was. Genuinely, I went that night and I was trying to ramp up the amount of movies I saw this year. Apparently, I fucking succeeded. And it was a weekend where I saw Nefarious, Renfield, and The Pope's Exorcist in like a triple feature. I stayed at the theater for like 6 hours, and I had no idea what the fuck Nefarious was. I was there to see Renfield. I figured while I was there, I'll give Russell Crowe a couple of hours of my time, and then Nefarious was this other movie, and all it was a picture of Sean Patrick Flanery in his orange jumpsuit. And the briefest of a Fandango description was just like, okay, some kind of demon possession thing, whatever the fuck. Okay, cool. I'll watch all 3. And I walked into the movie and I was like, I like Sean Patrick Flanery, so that was enough to get me a little curious. And when I walked out, I was just like, why did that feel like a 90-minute sermon? Like, why did I feel like I was being lectured that whole fucking movie? And then I came out and in the 45-minute little lull I had between movie 1 and movie 2, I started looking into it and I'm like, from the creators of God's Not Dead and Unplanned. There we go. That's why.
Yeah.
And when you watch the trailer, it doesn't advertise any of that.
Yeah.
Like they're not proud of that. It's not something they're trying to sell the movie or like gather their fans for. They literally tried to hide that. And the trailer doesn't hint at any of it either. It's just demon possession shit.
Well, yeah, they were going the horror route. Like, listen, we put little money into it. We're going to get money back as long as we tell people it's a possession movie and that's it. We should get opening weekend shit and laugh all the way to the bank. And it was preachy. The thing that, like, again, if it wasn't so highly praised, there wouldn't be such like this knee buckle reaction. But it was very it was so heavy on dialogue. Like, take, I mean, fuck, take $25,000, pay somebody to do some sort of special effect in After Effects. It'll take them a couple of days. The fact that everything was just so dialogue, it was just uh, 12 Angry Men, but a possession movie, and you're depending on Sean Patrick Flannery and his, like you said, his twitching to let you know that something else is going on. A light pops, I think, at one point, and it's just like, why can't if this is a horror movie, why can't you show me something? See? Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Why can't you, like, horror is Kevin Smith, even when Kevin Smith did his Red State or Tusk or anything that you thought Kevin Smith horror, there was visual to it, and from fucking Kevin Smith, the guy who I, directs newspaper articles.
Mhm.
If you're gonna do horror, you have to like show something that's scary, like uh, the dialogue, the constant back and forth, and that's not. I mean, I I can't think of a film where they leaned so heavily on dialogue and the film worked. But like even uh,
The counterpoint that I got for saying that in my review was like, I guess this guy doesn't like 12 Angry Men. I'm like, what a counterpoint. Like one of the greatest movies ever made that's known for that. What
yeah,
like what a fucking swing.
yeah, and even 12 Angry Men, like there's a visual with the knife. The guy, like
Yeah.
there's some elements where you have to use your eyes. That's
It
12
was
Angry Men is
political bullet points or religious bullet points. Kind of they're intertwined. That they set up the whole demonic thing, and then you have atheist and demon having a conversation, and it's just we have a segment of the movie we're going to talk about euthanasia, and now we're going to talk about abortion, and now we're going to talk about the death penalty, and it's all just like
yeah.
holding a mirror up to society, like, see, if you think this way, that's the devil getting you.
What?
And it was so heavy-handed and
Mm,
unsubtle to where if you're not already somebody who agrees with the movie, you're not gonna win them over, and
yeah,
that's
preaching
the
to the
problem.
choir.
Like,
Yeah,
I love having a movie challenge me and make me think and make me consider things. This is not a movie that's going to do that. Like, it had the Sound of Freedom effect where it's like you're either, like, hard for it, not really hard against it, just you're either hard for it or you don't know what the fuck it is in Nefarious's case, but it was that same thing where it's like there's no middle, and I was shocked. I figured when I saw this movie, I was like, okay, 8 people are going to watch this review. Nobody's going to know what the fuck this movie is. It's one of the most successful videos of the year for me. 83,000 views on my review, 83,000 views on my out of theater reaction, all
God,
with the same collection of comments. This movie's dog shit. I can't believe I paid money for this. They totally hid this. This is absolutely everything you said it was. Or this critic is what the movie is trying to warn us about. He's nefarious. I pray for his soul. And it's just like, what the fuck? And I kept having the Rotten Tomatoes score thrown at me as like a point for argument. Like, it's a great movie when the critics give it a low score and the audience gives it a high score. Let me pull up the numbers for
yeah.
this
How many
one.
tens are in that audience score?
Not only that, let me see. This is even more useful than the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey one. So, okay, Nefarious, Rotten Tomatoes, critic score 33%, 21 reviews.
Mm.
Audience score 96%. And yes, it's exactly that. 5 stars, greatest movie ever, such an important film, most captivating thing ever. But
Mo- oh,
the critic
sorry.
reviews reflect a movie that hides what it is. You
Yeah,
have people that go out to see this movie for work
yeah.
and they get tricked into watching a Christian propaganda movie. So whether if they don't agree with the movie's message, they're going to give it a negative review. If they kind of agree but don't like being preached to, like my standpoint, where
Mhm.
I'm just like, I don't give a fuck if you're telling me a bunch of things that I agree with or not. If that's not a movie, that's not a script, it's not a story. It's just you yelling at me through a megaphone and using a movie to do it.
Yeah,
That's going to get negative reviews. And so you end up with 21 people rated the fucking movie. You look at any Marvel movie and it's hundreds of critics.
yeah, yeah. Well, even the Winnie the Pooh, there was more than that watched Winnie the Pooh and rated it.
Yeah,
I
there
think it
was
was
like
33. You said
maybe
is it that
60 or
much?
something like that. I don't
Yeah,
fucking know.
even more. Yeah, I mean, part of what critics do is they look for how it technically the structure of the film, you know, it's not just I agree with this story, but when you think about what the character is, if the devil is really trying to uh, get one over on people who believe in God, an atheist is would be their ally. Like the fact that there was a line that Sean Patrick Flannery's character, who was a demon, um, he had this arrogance with the doctor who was an atheist, and he had this arrogance that like he knew that he didn't believe things, and then a priest came in and sat down, and he had that same arrogance, and it's like, wait a minute, you're basically telling the priest that you know what he believes is true, but you're going against everything that one of them has got to be wrong. And you're acting the same way with both of these characters. And if you're this demon that you claim to be, if I'm supposed to believe this character, then one of your little stories is wrong. Um, and it's just frustrating from like I'm with you. I mean, you brought up Sound of Freedom. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was offensively bad. I just thought it was painfully mediocre.
I
Well
never
made.
watched it. I lose interest when people threaten me to watch a movie.
It's fine. I
It's
mean,
a shame. It might be a movie that I thought was decent, but I'm very set in my ways. If you're telling me that if you're threatening me, like if you don't watch this, this is going to happen. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to watch it. Fuck you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that uh,
Mhm.
there are two sides, and you have to watch one or the other, or you have to grade one or the other well, because I don't know how politics and religion and all that shit became film criticism, but it's got to stop. And
Mhm.
2023 has, if anything, has proven that as far as Joe Sixpack is concerned, we're fucking tired of all of both hard ends of the spectrum
Mhm.
trying to tell us what's good and what's bad. 2023 fucking
They're
ain't
already
deviant.
revving it up for Star Wars too. You got the director for the Ray movie. There's clips out there where it's like, I love making men uncomfortable, and it's
Ah,
time a woman
fuck.
has a voice in Star Wars. And it's like, can we just tell a fucking story?
Yeah,
Why are you opening with that?
yeah. Like, what the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Um,
Those are the moments where the anti-woke crowd has a point, and I'm like,
yeah,
God damn it.
yeah. Like,
Why'd you have to give it to him? Like
don't make me.
Exorcist Believer. I'm like, you had to throw that fucking line in there, didn't you? You had to fucking give him some chum in the water.
I heard that was awful, so I just
It made my bottom 10.
I finally saw Sound of Freedom and like it. Sean, thank you, €5. Flaw is it flawless? No, but I thought it was a good story about a real world issue and good performances. Yeah, I put it right. I think I gave it 2.5 out of 5. It's fine. It's not something worth a stink on either end, I would say, but that's just me. Yeah. Your third favorite or least favorite, should I say?
Skinnamarink dinky doo.
Oh, that's good. We both have the same thirds.
Yes.
Interesting.
And see, here's the difference in tone from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey to Skinnamarink, because I gave them both the same numeric review. I gave them both
Mm,
half a star out of 5. Skinnamarink was miserable to watch.
yeah.
It's the movie that was absolutely the most like endurance test of the year, up there with Beau is Afraid. I had to drive 45 minutes to get it to find a theater that was playing it. And I was in that theater with like 12 other people. Nobody made a peep the entire time, and you could just feel the exhaustion
Tension.
just palpable in the room. Like every time it felt like it was going to wrap up, and then there's another ceiling, and you're like, "Fuck! Just how much more of this shit?" And people say it like it's a joke, but that's literally the movie. Just
Mm,
shots of the ceiling and the wall and the floor and toys for an hour and 40 fucking minutes. So
yeah.
on that level, you could make a solid argument for Skinnamarink actually deserving my bottom of the year over
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, because if I didn't have all of the personal vendetta against the movie. I would probably rather re-experience Blood and Honey than re-experience Skinnamarink, if I'm going to be completely honest. However, I at least appreciate what the director was going for. I could see the intent.
Yeah.
I can see the creativity and the I don't know if I'd go as far as say boldness, but something new and unique. It was experimental by every definition of the word. So I'm curious to see what this filmmaker is going to do in the future with a lot more resources. I hold true in the fact that this movie would probably be hard to get through if it was a horror short, but it was much more built for a horror short, stretched out to feature length. It was kind of obnoxious. And I don't understand those that loved it whatsoever. Like I don't understand. Even the weird creative decisions of, okay, we're going to make the audio so poor that you can never really distinguish what the kids are saying. And we're going to have subtitles to help with that. But in the third act, we're going to take the subtitles away because fuck you.
Yeah.
That was annoying to me. Where I'm like, what the devil say? What the fuck was that? And like, you couldn't even hear it.
Turn the TV down, you dicks.
Yeah. And it just, it was an experiment. The experiment did not pay off for me, but I'm curious to see what this person does in the future. And that's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of piggyback what you were saying, I don't think it's cinema. I don't think it's something you need to be, in a house with fucking Dolby surround with a giant screen. To me, Emily's really into like YouTube horror, and like there's this sub community that they're really into like luminal spaces, I think it's called, just like empty rooms, and it's somebody will edit some haunting fucking music underneath it. To me, if it were a YouTube film, I would say, yeah, that's unique. That's interesting. It's not for me. The same thing like with what the fuck? There's a video on YouTube where somebody goes up a hill to a tree, but then there's a staircase, and it's just like an infinite staircase. And when they get to the bottom, there's like an 80s mall with the Muzak playing, and it's empty, and it's just like, what the fuck am I watching? Shit. Dude, I'm telling you, it has more focus than Skinnamarink does. At least you're like, oh, steps. Okay,
Die Hard's a problem, but we can fucking watch this, huh? Damn.
I don't believe the cops. But you believe steps under a tree. Okay. She's sleeping. I really wish she was awake for that. Yeah, but it's like it's artsy. The fact that it's not on top for me, but Let Me In. What the fuck was it? No, not Let Me In. The Australian Talk to Me. Talk to Me. That was made by YouTubers.
Yeah.
And that was a film.
Yes.
I feel like if you take Talk to Me and Skinnamarink and Talk to Me was released in theaters too. If Skinnamarink was more for the YouTube platform, that would make more sense. It's too high concept. High concept. I don't know. Like there's no story. It's just random shots, like you said, of ceilings and corners and kids whispering and the TV's loud. Like,
it's effective in spots. There's moments where it's like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Like where they go upstairs and is the mom or something sitting on the bed, but her face doesn't look quite right. And there's things that they do that are interesting, but it's moments among an hour and 40 minutes of static shots of a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like if you compressed all of the best parts of that movie to a 10-minute short, it'd probably be pretty kick-ass. But an hour and 40 minutes of it was just like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was miserable to get through.
When you're waiting for something to happen and it kind of doesn't, it makes it feel like 10 times the worst.
Yeah. The credits rolled and you could just feel like, oh, everybody's fucking pissed.
What? Yeah. There's no reaction, just silence. Like,
yes, people just getting up like,
I stayed too long to get a refund.
The boyfriend's never allowed to pick a movie for the girlfriend ever again. How many relationships were forever changed by Skinnamarink? They're like, thanks. Now I got to watch Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Guess I'm going to see the Marvels later this year. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so we're gonna do bottom three, top three. Uh, I, I guess we could talk about surprises in a negative light. Did something that came out that you expected to be uh, a bit stronger than it was for you? I mean, I can start if need be. 65.
That was
I
going to
mean,
be
if
my answer. So there you
well,
go.
we could share it.
Uh,
I mean, you want to talk about nostalgia? If anything, we have a shared experience with that movie. If you
well,
watch,
well, the funny thing is, like, it almost had an extra unfair level of
it had no
expectation
choice.
laid on it
Yeah, no
because,
pressure.
yeah, me and CP came to Georgia for about a week, and we had a double feature night where we were going to see Scream 6 and 65 on opening night. And, we had no doubt Scream 6 was going to be awesome. Both of us just crushed at how bad that third act was. And so we
Mm,
walked out like, how the fuck did that happen? So all of a sudden now we're like really hopeful for 65. Like, oh my God, come on, redeem the night.
it just needs to be mediocre, and it
Yeah.
saves the night.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think CP made it an hour. I look over at him.
Yeah. I think I woke up. I'm like, did I miss anything? No.
Yeah, they walked and she didn't say shit still. Yeah, I mean, it's a concept that feels like a layup.
Mm,
Get a good charismatic actor who can handle action,
dude, and he's like white hot
sci-fi.
right now too.
Yeah, sci-fi action with a dude with laser guns versus fucking dinosaurs. Like, even if you lean into the goofier side of that, how do you miss? And they
Mm,
miss because they make it like the most boring possible version of it. It's just
it-
a movie about getting from point A to point B, and occasionally we pop up with some dinosaurs. And it does something that was just such a baffling decision, which I saw multiple times this year, actually, where
65?
you have a limited no, just
Oh,
this issue.
okay.
You have 2 characters in the movie, Adam Driver, little girl. Little girl's mute, so you take away any ability to have any kind of character development
Conversation,
or
yeah.
relationship development or meaningful dialogue to break up the walking. And and I vaguely remember them trying to do, like, a plot reveal in the 3rd act based off of the title of the movie, and it was like, "Well, yeah, no shit, like, that was supposed to be a surprise? Come
Yeah,
on, guys." And so,
yeah.
yeah, that ended up being a movie where, like, it retroactively, it kinda made Scream 6 look better
Oh my
because it was
god.
just like, this is 90 minutes, and it feels like 2 hours and 20.
Yeah, the fact that I took a nap and didn't miss anything is
Mhm,
really fucking telling. Uh, it's like you said, if they just leaned into some of the camp,
mhm.
like, yeah, do some Jurassic World shit. Have 2 raptors fighting, and you don't have to have Adam Driver get involved, but, just some sort of action, like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, fucking
The trailer compiled all the best moments.
oh, yeah, and I think they even used stuff that they didn't use in the film. It was just like,
Mhm.
oh, of all the movies I've ever seen, 65 is definitely one of them.
That's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's not at the bottom for me, but it's just like,
It's
eh
at
eh
109 for me
wow,
out of 100
wow.
well, currently 120.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's like you said, it was something that we didn't expect to need to be that good, but then, like, when all the pressure was like, "God, Scream 6 was kinda shit,"
Mhm.
and just the 2 disappointments in one night. Uh, I mean, Adam Driver, like, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. That was just a dud all around. Um, Another one that was a disappointment that was it didn't make my top 5 list because it was a movie that I didn't really know about until just before I watched it.
Mhm.
Did you watch It's a Wonderful Knife?
Emily Wat no, no. But I'm familiar with it.
I
Is that the
was
Norway one?
no, 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 this is the one with Justin Long that's like the It's a Wonderful Life plus slasher.
Yeah, okay. I think
Came
I'm
out, like,
familiar.
end of November. Anyway, it's
He's the
one of the
mayor?
movies.
Is he the
Yeah,
mayor?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those movies that's part of this new little brewing subgenre of, like, take a classic movie and mix it with slasher. So, like, we had
Oh, like, Totally
Groundhog
Killer.
Yeah, totally killer, Happy Death Day, Freaky, and I
Okay.
liked all of those movies, and so I figured this one was probably gonna be pretty good, a holiday slasher, do the It's a Wonderful Life, get up with a killer in the background, and just from top to bottom, this thing was just a massive misfire. So the trailer shows you as well, but the movie shows you the identity of the killer within the first 15 minutes
Mhm.
before she, you know, wishes that she was never born and sees the alternate reality. Goes to this alternate reality, the killer was never stopped, and now the killer is went on, because she's the one. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's not a spoiler because the trailer tells you all this, just for anybody. But if you're really curious about It's a Wonderful Knife, just mute for a minute. So there's a killer going around on Christmas Eve. The main character kills him, stops him. It's Justin Long. And then a year later, for some unexplained reason, the town like shuns her. Like the town treats her like shit because she stopped the killer a year ago. It's so fucking weird and unexplained. It's almost as if like Justin Long was such a beloved person in town that they like resent her for it, but they don't even establish that. It's just a year later and everybody treats her like shit, including her parents. Like they get her some little bullshit, like almost like a Christmas Story, like when he opens up the present and it's the fucking the bunny costume, like this really dog shit present, and they get her brother like a fucking $30,000 truck. Like it's so blatant, like, yeah, fuck you, we hate you. And so that's kind of how they build her existential crisis, is just these unexplained reasons of why everybody treats her like dog shit. It's a Wonderful Life thing. I wish I was never born. Everybody'd be better off. And then it goes into this alternate reality where she was never born. And so hence Justin Long was never stopped. So that killer has just kept killing. But you don't have the whodunit aspect because you've already told us who the killer is.
Mm.
So then you spend the rest of the movie with her trying to convince everybody else that it's Justin Long and find a way to stop him, and also kind of slowly realizing all these other people actually would be better off with her there, but they don't develop any of it. By the end of it, it kind of becomes this weird. Well, I don't mean to say weird. It just out of nowhere is where the story kind of takes it to like a coming out story, but it never feels like the movie's actually focused on that. It just kind of feels like it tacks that on in the end. When if you wanted to focus on that, you could have built an interesting little story there where she realizes that in her absence, but it's one of like three subplots going on that don't get any kind of actual genuine build. And then you get the cheapest slasher writing where like the killer gets knocked on his ass and the fucking knife is flung 3 feet away at the bottom of a staircase, and they're like trying to like creep over the body and hopefully they don't wake him up, and it's like, just stab the motherfucker. Like moments like that. It was bad. It was really bad. It was a big disappointment. It felt like an easy, entertaining little B movie, if nothing else. And it's the one movie that you can say Justin Long was made a bad choice with his horror choices, which I've never been able to say before. Usually when he's in there, you're like, oh, this is going to be pretty cool and interesting.
Dude, Barbarian was fucking. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Justin Long's here.
The
What the hell?
movie is dead serious and he is goofy as fuck. So whatever movie he thought he was in, I kind of want to see that movie, but he is so out of place with everything else.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, I'm familiar with the movie, and you've kind of talked it into a pretzel.
Mhm.
Um, it's the counter to the Winnie the Pooh thing, where they're just being lazy and using a property and just trying to cut corners. Where
Mhm.
they're taking like something, an idea, and making it horror, and it certainly sounds convoluted. So there, I mean, am I going out on a limb and saying there was at least effort made into the film, whether or not it was achieved
Well, yeah,
is
I wouldn't call it effortless. It was just
you know
unfocused.
right. I mean, it takes something to take like a premise and kind of
Mhm.
do something with it. So like it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that people are just taking property and trying to just look Winnie the Pooh, but horror.
Yeah.
It's just it's stuff like that I kind of root for. Even Totally Killer, it's kind of a. I mean, that was an Amazon movie, Netflix. It was either Amazon or Netflix. I'm
I
pretty sure.
really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, they all had like Max Headroom masks. I want to say
Something
it,
like that.
it was just light. It's unfortunate that stuff like that. I mean, freaky. Yeah, it's nothing new, but it's an interesting twist on the Freaky Friday angle, and just same thing with Happy Death Day, Groundhog Day, but horror.
They're fun movies. I enjoyed
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah. I mean, you're not gonna have a thesis about why that film is the best thing ever, but they're fun. They're potato chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
The
was a
stu
disappointment for you?
I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Really?
Yeah, granted, I wasn't really I'm not familiar too much with the game, but all of these, like, knockoff movies, the Nicolas Cage movies, like, there was 2 or 3 Five Nights at Freddy's, but not
Mhm.
movies that came out over the course of the last 5 years. And then, I watched this with the missus a couple of weeks ago, and she's, like, really into the the Five Nights at FNAF games, and I was confused. Like, I was like, what's going on?" Like, the animatronics are fucking whatever, why is he taking this job? "Oh, look, it's Stu." And like, I was just like, maybe this is me? I am I supposed to know something? But Emily was just
No, it was very much a movie that was made for the fans. It was the reverse experience of what I had, with Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City,
I
where there was
love that.
so many. I really enjoyed it too, but, like, me, Rudy, and Sean did a live stream on it, and so many of the things that me and Rudy were nerding out about, Sean was like, "I had no idea what the fuck the significance of that was." Like, "Itchy Tasty on the wall, what the fuck does that mean? The little
Oh,
Moonlight Sonata on the piano, what is that's random." So this is very much like that, where they made so many things that were like direct Easter eggs and little elements that were pure fan service.
yeah, the
Where
the
in
the
the
waiter.
theater,
Yeah.
dude, like the most theater reactions that I have experienced since Endgame.
Oh,
I
wow,
saw it
shared
opening
experience.
night. I saw it opening night, and like every five, oh, and I'm like, "Well, who the fuck is that cab driver? What does that mean?" And like me and my friend, my neighbor went to see it with our kids because Shane and his son especially are like big fans,
Mhm.
and they were doing like, "Oh my god, dude, fucking guess the bite of '85," and we're like, "What the fuck does that mean?" The whole movie was like that. And so, if you're fans, apparently it was a really good experience.
Hmm.
For those like me and you, at best, it's okay. And,
Yeah.
it's a lighter example of kind of this growing concern that I have here lately. Eh, we're already kind of preparing notes, me and Sean, for some of the things we're gonna discuss at MegaCon, and we wanna do a horror panel, and he wants to talk about, like, concerns for the future of horror, and immediately my mind goes to lazy utilization of IPs.
Hmm.
Most
Hmm.
obviously embodied by our bottom, number 1,
Mhm.
and that growing little subgenre, but even
Mhm.
things like this, I had a decent time with Five Nights at Freddy's, but I had no expectations for it, and it
Yeah.
was the theater experience, I think, made it a lot better. If it was at home, I probably would have been significantly lower on it, but that was a movie that Blumhouse knew they were going to print fucking money no matter what effort they put into it. And so they did a decent enough job. They did a fairly good job for people who are hardcore fans, but there's not much of a story to that movie. The story that they do attempt with the main character and his brother and the dream is very half
Yeah.
cooked. Even the ultimate reveal by the end of it of who was in charge of all the evil was like there's like 3 people in this cast. I know who the killer's going to be. Thanks. And so there wasn't. It was a Blumhouse movie.
Yeah.
Very much like, okay, a little bit of money spent. We're gonna make money hand over fist. It did. We're gonna get probably 5 or 6 of these fucking things at least before all is said and done. And I worry about that being more of a trend with recognizable IPs. Is just like we know we're gonna make money, so I mean, let's not spend too much time on it.
I'm not that big a deal, so I will say it, and me and Mr. Blumhouse go way back. Um, I think what we're talking about with, like, Winnie the Pooh and stuff, all these IP that are just kinda like cash grabs, I think Jason Blum is a high profile version of that. Buy something, I mean, fuck, how many other franchise, I mean, between Halloween, Exorcist, this Five Nights at Freddy's, like,
He tried his damnedest to get Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the
and Friday
13th
the 3rd,
too.
yeah. So, like, he's got a bit of a cynical approach to it. Granted, he spends a bit more than these other people, but once he has these properties, I'm not saying that these are cheaply done, but they're done for minimum as far as a big studio operation is concerned.
Yeah.
And
They're extreme hit or miss. They
yeah,
have the Netflix approach. We're just green light everything.
yeah,
And almost every year without exception, one of my top 15 or 20 movies is a Blumhouse movie. There's one or two of them in my bottom 15 or 20, and everything else is stuck like right there in the middle, just absolutely mediocre and forgettable. And that's
yeah,
what sucks about it. Cause like when they do something good, I want to give them credit. But for every hit they have two shitty or mediocre movies that
2.
just
I would say
drained me,
5.
like the one that I saw just a couple of hours ago. And so it's hard for me when I see Blumhouse as a name, that's not a selling point for me. I'm
Yeah.
more inclined to be like, ugh. Like last night I was live on the Sledgehammer Horror channel, and it got brought up that Christine is being remade. And I was like,
Fucks.
who's doing it? Like, tell me. And then he read Blumhouse, and I went, oh, and just
Come on.
immediately I think what they did with Halloween, what they're doing even worse with Exorcist, and it's just
Yeah,
I was praying. I was like, Robert Englund, please don't say yes to them. Please don't say yes to them. I don't give a fuck how much money they throw at you. Don't do it.
see, like, this is Brian Fuller, if that's true, Brian Fuller directing Christine. Brian Fuller is a pretty good horror director. So
Mhm.
I think the one thing that bails Blum out a lot of the time is he gets lucky. Like Invisible Man, how the fuck did he got lucky with that because uh what the fuck's your name? Saw. Shit. What is
James
his name?
Wan, Lee Manel.
Lee Winnell wrote and directed it. If I know he directed it, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure of that. But like that was incredible. The fact that he still managed to have homages to the original Universal film and still made it modern, and it was stealth woke. Like it was just like holy shit. How did Blum get his hands on this? But uh, broken clock right twice a day, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's just got more money, and
Again, business genius.
yeah, yeah.
But when we're great in the art, it's like, I don't know.
This is a guy who kept pumping out Paranormal Activity movies. He had the Saw formula once
Mhm.
a year, just here new Paranormal Activity, and he made his money there, and he just reinvested it.
Mhm.
So credit where it's due. Yikes!
Did you see The
Yeah,
Last Voyage of Demeter?
I did not.
That was one of
Somebody
my
brought it
bigger
up in the chat earlier.
That was one of
Go
my
on.
bigger disappointments of the year too, because I love vampire movies, and I've been saying it for years. Like I'm ready for the Twilight stink to completely be gone. It feels like it's mostly left the room, so we could start taking vampires and werewolves seriously again. And this felt like it was going to be one of the first steps towards that. Just a movie with Dracula fucking people up on a ship,
Mhm.
and there was some decent things about it. There was some cool vampire Dracula effects. He's in like that bat animal form the entire movie.
Hmm.
Some pretty good performances, like what's the guy's name? David Dismalchian. He's in a lot of Christopher Nolan stuff, and he was good,
Oh.
but the movie just didn't have enough story to merit a whole movie. It's taking one chapter out of Bram Stoker's Dracula and making a whole movie out of it, and you want the rest of it. And so it ended up being a big disappointment for me.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just like a boat ride, right? It's Jason Takes
It's it
Manhattan
it's
for,
it's
Dracula?
Dracula stowing away on a boat from Transylvania to, like, London or something like that, and every single night, you'll have, like, a worker going off to fucking, like, mend the sail or something, and, the lightning will flash, and there's a bat, and then he gets fucking bit, and then he's gone, and the next day, they're like, "Where the fuck's Bill?" And it just does that, like, 4 or 5 times until they start to sift through everything and realize there's, like, a monster on board, and they kinda take the fight to Dracula at night. And so it was okay, but I was hoping it was gonna be a lot better.
Yeah, so to transition to positive, surprises.
Well, really quick before we do that,
Okay.
the movie that kind of embodies disappointment for me. Did you see Indiana Jones?
Oh, yeah. I didn't expect much. I saw it.
Mhm. That
Go
that
on.
one was the most disappointing for me. I kinda tricked myself into thinking I liked it more than I did because I drove 4 hours to Atlanta to see the press screener and then or screening and then 4 hours home.
Hmm.
I can't tell you jack shit about that movie, aside from the 3rd act and the real sci-fi angle it goes that I thought was too much, and the fact that I really did not like the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. And just this weird trend, especially in Lucasfilm, this weird trend that we're in. I know you like Last Jedi more than I do, if I'm not mistaken.
I
This weird
I
trend that
do,
we have,
but
this weird trend of them, like, the heroes that you guys loved in your childhood, let's deconstruct them and make them a grumpy old man with regret. And it's like, that's not what the fuck we go to Indiana Jones for. I don't want to see him passed out drunk in his underwear in front of a TV regretting
mm,
life. Like, that's no. And the biggest disappointment was that this kind of felt like a bad idea from Greenlight,
yeah.
but they had James Mangold as director, who I love. Easily his weakest movie. And it was so painfully meh and just mediocre to where, like, when I did my review, I said it's good enough. That was kind of my tagline. I was like, it didn't embarrass itself. It was
Mm,
okay. It was fine. As a closing chapter, it's good enough. And the
yeah.
more that time has gone past it, I'm just like, but is it? Because as much as we like to shit on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that's a memorable movie. Not for the
It's
best reasons.
Spielberg. I mean,
Not for the best reasons, but I can tell you the plot, I can tell you specific scenes, I can describe action sequences, I can describe characters and character motivation. Like, I can tell you a lot about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I can't tell you jack shit about this one. So it's one of those weird debates. It's like, is the one that makes no impact whatsoever automatically better than the one that swings for the fences and misses? Or is the one that you can at least remember and at least made an impact better than the one that you have forgotten months later?
yeah. Without like going through my list, I don't know if I'll be doing a list this year, but if I do, I might graze this another time. But it's dead in the middle.
Same for me, it's
Out
at
of
52.
45. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not horrible, but it's like it's the embodiment of disappointment to me, where I would have to force myself to watch it a second time to remind myself what happened, and the fact that I have to say the phrase "force myself to watch" an Indiana Jones film is just not good.
yeah. I don't disagree with you at all.
Stiff
Uh,
kittens, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare.
wow.
Absolutely
Wow.
not. Absolutely
Wow.
not.
The one thing perhaps I would. There's 5 of them. See, even Blu-ray addicts missing
Yeah.
one. Um, yeah, the one thing I was going to kind of be a bitch about, the one thing that is kind of traditional with Indiana Jones is his sidekicks being a little annoying. Not in all of them. I
Well,
mean,
she's flat out just, like, trashing him and shitting on him the whole movie.
yeah,
Like, it
yeah,
annoyed me. I didn't realize it was gonna be, like, this huge deal where her character was, like, one of the most despised characters of 2023, but it grated on me a bit to where it's just like, "That's Indiana Jones, bitch. Who the fuck are you?"
yeah.
The
No, I
opening 10 minutes was the most Indiana Jones magic that we
oh,
get
the
in that movie, but
train?
but every time they
Mm,
focus on his face, I was pulled out of the
yeah,
magic. I
the
was like,
uncanny
"Nope,
valley,
not
like,
there yet, not there
nope.
yet."
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna put up a very strong fight anywhere. If people hate it, I understand. If people love it, I would probably like, "Really? Love?"
I've heard some
Um,
people that, like, adore it, and I don't they don't have a compelling way to articulate why. It just kinda feels just contrarian.
if I had to pick one thing, the send-off was nice. That's
But it's
the
the
closing
same.
shot. The closing shot, very nice.
See, for me, though, I think the send-off was better in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He gets married to Marion. He's reunited with his family. His son is in Stowe. His son goes to pick up the hat, and he takes the hat from him like, "Bitch, that's mine." And like kind of winking at the audience, like Shia LaBeouf was going to take over the franchise. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Just kidding. We all know there's only one Indy." And then you get to
Yeah.
this one, and
He
spoiler
just hangs
alert.
the hat up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever. But I'm just saying, they have that ending in 4. Everybody's happy. We have the happy ending. And for 5's story to get to the end of 5, we have to dismantle that ending. And his son died at war, and his wife hates him, and then they get all the way back together again, and it's like this, melancholy kiss or whatever. Okay, they're back together again. It's like, well, bitch, they were back together at the end of the last one. You fucked it up.
Yeah. It's the problem. I mean, Harrison Ford didn't make it a secret that he was done.
Here's another one. How do you make Mads Mikkelsen bland and unmemorable? Like that was the one thing that I was like, for sure he's going to be good. He never misses. And I was like, oh, just Nazi doctor guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's the guy?
I'm having a bit of a Brian Lomax Justice League 5 out of 5 thing with my review, because I was fairly positive, and I'm just like, I look back at that review like,
Let me
I think that
refilm.
8-hour round trip convinced you otherwise, Cody, of the past.
Yeah, Harrison Ford didn't make it a secret that like he was done with all the Lucasfilm shit. So they just kept throwing money at him. It was like, yeah, all right, I'll whatever.
Yeah. Well, he was really praiseworthy of this. Like, he seems to not really give much of a fuck about Han Solo. At least he presents it that way, maybe for jest. But he
Mhm.
seemed like emotionally invested in this one. Every time they showed before the movie came out, like press with him or the premiere, and he was like emotional, like, this is like, I love this movie and I love what we've done. And that's kind of what got me hyped for it a bit. It was just like, okay, well, I don't think he would say that if he didn't mean it. And maybe it was cathartic for him to do one last little go round, but just no.
Yeah. It's well, the thing with Shia LaBeouf, and it's kind of the problem that Hollywood keeps painting themselves in a corner with. Like they keep marrying a character to an actor.
Mhm.
And the same thing happened with the 5th phase of Marvel, and the second Majors was convicted of sneezing. They're like, done.
Mhm.
No backsies, we're done. Um, like it's okay to like have somebody else play the character. I mean, shit, Maggie Gyllenhaal played a character that was far better in The Dark Knight than Batman Begins when Katie Holmes was the same character. But if you tell us that the different actress is this character, we're okay with it. Like it's happened so many times before. Um, I mean, it, it- they don't learn from their past, and like the fact that if you want to do India, like I get it, maybe they wanted to do something with Shia LaBeouf uh, for the future 15 years ago in regards to Indiana Jones, but like, these people do die eventually.
Mm.
Um, what is your plan if you want to keep the Indiana Jones universe going? What is your plan moving forward? I mean, these films already take place 60, 70 years ago in the past. So are you ever going to bring it modern or what? I mean,
I think that's a property that just needs to not come back. I mean,
yeah.
that's the other thing about it too, is like so much of the action was clearly CG and green
Mhm.
screen and body doubles and things like that, where a lot of what makes the first 3 films stand out was how much of it was practical and actually dangerous. And
Yeah.
that stuff holds
Miniatures
up.
and yeah.
That stuff holds up. And movies like this, if the CGI is not like flawless or like groundbreaking in some way, it ages like milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is one of those things. I mean, there's no, I think the fact that they didn't reboot it, and like there was the talk of Chris Pratt or somebody doing, I feel like he's in the running for everything.
I was just
Like
gonna say,
2 or
like,
3
how
years
many
ago.
fucking movies is he in?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years ago, they were talking about rebooting it, and he was kind of the name everybody was throwing around. And then they kind of came back with like, nope, never, only Harrison, and we're gonna do one more. And to me, that's kind of evidence that I don't think this is one of those characters that I don't think movie fans are ever going to accept a different version of. Just have your
Well,
5 movie legacy,
yeah,
50
yeah.
years in the future, maybe, whatever. But it just that's a franchise where its magic was certainly a certain period of filmmaking. We're not going to get back to that.
To that point, granted, it's not the same studio, but we're both very familiar with this property. If Uncharted was better received, do you think that would have been if Uncharted did a better job of being something that was more received by movie-going audiences, do you think we would even have Indiana Jones 5 or
Yeah,
okay.
because the Disney era that we were in when this was greenlit was the just milk IPs, quantity over quality. So
Mhm.
I still think we would have gotten it.
Yeah. So but I feel like if Uncharted were to translate how incredible those games were and felt, because they were Indiana Jones games, essentially, as
Yeah,
far I remember, when I first played the first one, I was like, "Oh, this is Indiana Jones." So, like, this
yeah,
is modern day Indiana Jones. This is incredible.
yeah.
I feel like if they did a better job of making the Uncharted film a bit more well received, perhaps we would have some sort of transition, but that's just me.
We shall
Um,
see.
yeah, so positive surprises. Well, I'll put Saw X in there.
Oh, yeah. That was number 1 for me.
Yeah, I mean, we were having conversations when we were talking about 31 on 31 where, like, there wasn't a trailer in, like,
Mhm.
July, and it was supposed to come out in October, and I was like, "Guys, what do we do if this movie doesn't come out?"
Yeah.
And, like, because of, like, their tight-lipped nature, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this. We're gonna get Jigsaw all over again." Um, and holy shit, uh, Saw X might have been the best sequel?
To me, it's the best in the franchise.
Yeah,
I mean, it was my
yeah.
number 1 in 31 on 31, so,
Mhm.
like, I did not expect that. I mean, the whole theme of me picking that theme was like, "Well, we're gonna get another one of these dog shit movies probably, so let's just embrace it." And the conversation shifted from yet another one of these to, "All right, let's get through talking about all of these so we could talk about that one that was actually really good." And not that that's the only good Saw movie, but, just that was the shining light of, like, hope
Mm,
there at the end. Um but yeah, I was as pessimistic as you could be about this because I like about half the Saw franchise. The other half I could give a shit if I ever watch again. And it was absolutely played out. It was one of those one a year. And then
mm.
they tried to reboot it twice with Jigsaw, big fail. Spiral, I liked, but as far as everybody else, kind of a big fail. And so this felt like another desperate attempt, like Hail Mary, like, Okay, we'll bring Tobin Bell back. Do you like us now?" And so I just saw it as that. It's like another fucking reboot. Oh, of course, we're gonna go back. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Jigsaw. We're gonna have him be in it more. Cool. Why the fuck did you kill him off in the 3rd movie anyway,
It's
dumbass?
only been 20 years since he
Yeah,
first appeared.
exactly. And so like I was not convinced, even with the trailer. I was like, well, I was at Fantastic Fest back at the end of September, and they always have these secret screenings where you don't know what it is
Mm.
until you sit down. And there's usually whispers, things that people hear, rumored, or some
I
big
was supposed to
release.
be there, yeah.
Yeah, and so you look at the movies that they've announced, and you look at what's not there,
Mhm.
and there was 4 secret screenings this year, and so there was a lot of talk about those. So it was like everybody was thinking, okay, Exorcist hasn't come out, Five Nights at Freddy's hasn't come out, Thanksgiving's around the corner, of course, Saw X. Maybe it'll be something really weird like David Fincher's The Killer, and there was all these really like cool, with the exception of Exorcist Believer, all these really cool potential things it could be. And Saw X was the one that I wanted it to be the least. I was like, I don't give a fuck about seeing Saw X at a
What
festival crowd. Like, I want to see any of those other things before I see this. and it ended
Plus,
up being
it was the week before Saw
it
was
was
gonna
the
be
day
released, right?
before.
Oh, yeah.
That
So,
was the
like
other part of it too, where I was like, "Oh, this is kind of lame." But yeah, so the night before it goes wide, they have it as the last secret screening,
boo.
and about 15 people that were in my theater, as soon as like static, and then Billy the Puppet comes up on the screen, they just get up and leave. They try to go to see something else.
Wow.
And so yeah, I was like, of course it's Saw, whatever. And so I sat back just like, okay, the review will do well regardless.
Mm.
And so I watched the movie and I walk out, and me and Sean didn't talk right away. Like, he went and did his little out of theater reaction. I went and did mine. And then we came back and we were like, was that the best Saw movie? Yeah, it was. It wasn't just okay, me too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was the best Saw movie. What the fuck? That was awesome. And what I liked about it, for as many people on the comment section that think that I'm up my own ass and I only like to be right all the time, or I don't, yeah, I love when I'm wrong. Yeah, exactly. I love when I'm wrong. In this
Yeah,
case,
no,
like,
you're right, Cody, yeah.
you're fired. Brian's been promoted. Yeah. But anyway, like, I like when I'm wrong because it's exciting for me. Like, I'm the
Mm.
one who's the naysayer saying this movie ain't gonna be worth the fuck. Like, okay, Saw fanboys, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be great. And then I go see the movie a day before everybody else, and I get to go, guys, it's really fucking good. Get
Yeah.
excited. It's really fucking good. Like, I was wrong. Like, I like that. And that was the moment this year when I got to do that. And it kind of like rejuvenated my Saw fandom to
Mm.
where now, not since the second film have I been at a point where I'm like, I can't wait for the next one. What are they going to do? Let's speculate. And I did a video where I did like my little pitch for Saw 11. So thank you. So it was a movie that like excited me again. And that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible how they took something that was just so old and tired. Like, if you just read me the premise, I'd be like, "Fuck, of course they brought Tobin Bell back,
Hmm.
and of course they're bringing Shawnee Smith back too. Like, what the fuck?
Hmm.
What are you gonna tell me that happened in between the 8 movies? Oh, it takes place between 2 and 3. Sure, okay."
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like, they actually filled I mean, if you can have a complaint, it's, you're mid retconning between 2 and 3 and, whatever.
One
Like,
and
if
two.
is it 1 and 2? Okay.
I I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, regardless, yeah, it's
Hmm.
in between the first couple.
Hmm.
Uh, that is if that's the only gripe you have about this movie, it's really nothing. That's a nitpick. But the fact that they actually fleshed out not only Jigsaw's character, like, the John character and, Shawnee Smith's character too, like, you actually yeah, it has to be between 1 and 2 because she was a bit of a cranky bitch, but in the 3rd one with the doctor, it's just like,
Hmm.
"Mm, something's happened to her character."
Hmm.
Um,
Which they start to give context to in this
right,
movie.
right, right. They're like, retroactively filling in these
They're
characters.
filling in gaps that are actually beneficial to fill out. They're not doing the
Yes.
typical horror prequel problem where it's like, I wasn't asking that fucking
Yeah.
question, but thanks for answering it.
Yeah. Did you ever wonder what happened to Jason as a 5-year-old?
Yeah.
No.
I
No,
always
I
think
didn't.
about Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, where it's just like
Ugh.
every little tiny insignificant plot element. They're like, we got to show how he lost his legs. We got to show how he lost his teeth. We got to show how this went there. And it's like, nobody was fucking asking that.
Yeah, R. Lee Ermey, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
thank God we're with this family."
Yeah.
Fucking But yeah, like, the fact that they went back, fleshed out these characters, and still had a very Saw movie, it
Mhm.
was incredible, like, not to spoil anything, I realized a couple of people in the chat said that they haven't seen it yet, but get on that, first of all. Uh, Secondly, um, there's a scene where Jigsaw is actually being tested himself for something,
Mhm.
and you're like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, he's not just all talk. We're actually seeing him put his money where his mouth is, so to speak."
Mhm.
And it was like,
It was amazing to me how good of a job they did at making him the hero of the
yes,
movie, even though
yes,
we all know definitively he's a fucking whack job and
yeah.
he's a murderer that won't own it. And we're not like, he's a psycho. Like, they succeeded here where Don't Breathe 2 really failed, where you
Mm,
take somebody where we already know the bad part of them, and then you try to make them the hero by introducing worse people that worked in this one a lot to where, and it's the only Saw movie I can think of. There might be another example where we know extensively why these people are being put in these traps, and we're kind of invested in seeing if they're going to learn their lesson and come out on the other side. But if they don't, we're like, fuck it, they suck anyway. And so, like, you know, after like Saw 4, it was like, you got caught jaywalking, so now you have to survive by chopping off your feet. And it's like, god damn, dude. Like, but this one, you're like, yeah, fuck them.
Well, yeah, like they even tease the guy who was like going through somebody's wallet in the beginning, and he's got like fucking fluorescent lights.
I loved that. Some people bitched that it was like a dream sequence. I was like, that was clever as fuck. That was hilarious. And especially when he puts his hand on,
you made the right choice.
And that was the other part of the movie that I love, that this is the only one that has it, is that like self-aware dark humor.
Yeah.
For the first time, the movie kind of tongue-in-cheek acknowledges that Jigsaw's full of shit. And that's one of the biggest issues I've had with this franchise. You get some fans that defend him, like, no, technically he's never killed anybody. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. From the first movie, he fucking slashes the throat of a cop that's doing his job that didn't do anything wrong. So get the fuck out of here with that. And this is the first movie that's like, yeah, he's kind of full of shit, but we love him anyway. When he feels like he had the successful surgery, and it's got like the real hopeful, like, the old man in the park thing, and then you go look down and he's designing another trap. Like, it was fucking funny. I never laughed at a Saw movie, but that was like weird. I'm like, this is actually a funny Saw movie.
Yeah, and all you need is to talk about healthcare prices.
Yeah,
and you'll get Americans on your side.
By the third act, where you get the guy who ends up being in cahoots with the main villain, where he's listening to John and Amanda like ramble on about the code. And he's just like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. Like, they're saying this shit dead serious. And he's like, what the fuck? No, that's not how it works.
Sean, thank you. 99p in European money. Thank you. Thoroughly surprising. And for those of you who haven't watched, how have you gotten through our 31 on 31 between our videos and the debrief? Like, what's left to watch?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you see Godzilla -1?
No.
That was another one of my big surprises, because
I've heard
absolutely not a fan of Godzilla. I've never seen anything before Godzilla -1. I've never seen a Godzilla film that I would say I liked. I don't like the Gareth Edwards one that everybody loves. So this is one that you have Godzilla movie, and then you add in the fact that it was a foreign film, and I was like, definitely not seeing that shit. And then all of a sudden, everybody was really hyping it up and talking about how great it was, and like, oh my god, the story's good. Oh my god, the human characters are great. You don't even necessarily really care that Godzilla's there. You're invested in them. And they're saying all these things. I'm like, those are all the things that I've been bitching about in all these Godzilla movies. Maybe this is good. And I went to see it, and I really enjoyed it. You know, it dives into post World War II Japan and like post-war guilt. The main character is a kamikaze pilot that doesn't fulfill his duty, so he's kind of got survivor's guilt and regret. And it's a really interesting movie without Godzilla. But then you bring in Godzilla, and it's like, how much money did this movie cost? Because that shit looks awesome.
Yeah.
And it was like 15 million. And it's it's the movie of the year where they go, Hollywood, can you fucking like reverse engineer this shit and start doing this instead of this $300 million dog shit over here? Like I like the movie, but like the Flash special effects, how the fuck that cost more than $5? I don't know. But the movie was just really good. And it's funny because I said in my review, before I had compiled all the movies that I watched of the year, I was like, I don't want to go too far. It's not top 10 of the year for me or anything like that. It's fucking close. It's really fucking close. And me, the not Godzilla fan, telling you that it's fucking close to my top 10 is like a big selling point.
It's subtitles too, right? So you're watching a foreign film. You're like, Cody's all grows up, I think. Between that and something else that I think you'll talk about.
I can read. I'm a real boy.
Between that and something else, that like action Cody starting to turn a little bit here between
Yeah.
reading a movie and something else dramatic.
I still
You'll
remember
be
back
watching
to the
Oscar winners in no time.
telling you, man. My
12 Years a
fucking
Slave,
my top
yes.
10 is gonna be the same as everybody else's in like 2 years. Just wait. I back in like the first year that I was on YouTube, I have a friend of mine that lives in California who's a really big film nerd. I think he went to film school and all that crazy stuff, but
Yeah,
he's
those dicks.
hardcore. All the things that I am not, he is hardcore. Like we have parallel tastes in certain things, but very different. And I'll never forget. This is back, but like for a long time, I would not watch foreign films because I hated watching subtitles. And
Mm,
to a degree, I still do, but I force myself through it, and more times than not, it's a rewarding experience. Sometimes it's not my thing, but I'll never forget. He recommended a movie to me to review, and I was like, I've never heard of that. What is it? And he's like, oh, it's this Norwegian thing. I was like, does it have subtitles? Because I don't watch movies with subtitles. And he goes, God damn it, Cody, get over it. And just fucking loses his shit on me.
Boob Sweat Leads to Pearl Necklaces, still my favorite name ever. Interested in seeing the upcoming Rewind. we've beaten those two topics to death.
Definitively, I will never watch any movie that Jagged Edge production creates ever. Steamboat Willie, I don't believe is created by them. So any other movie that is not produced by those fucking assholes, I will have to hear good things about it before I give it a chance. I am not going to contribute to this growing trend. I'm not going to do it. So most of those movies, you're not going to even hear me acknowledge them.
Yeah. Unless Cody has a vested job interest in it. Read YouTube.
No.
Really?
No.
Even with a screener?
No. No.
Okay.
No.
No.
I mean, I could make a ton of views if I review Blood and Honey 2. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to support it. I don't even want to talk about it. And so even these other movies that are just a part of the problem that aren't produced by them, I'm going to assume they're shit until I'm told otherwise, and then maybe I'll give them a chance. But I'm not acknowledging these movies.
Yeah. I like, not to be I don't know, gatekeepers, but like the horror community should expect more of the stuff they're going to see.
I hope that they're going to be smarter this come around. Like if Blood and Honey 2 makes like 20 million or something like that, I'm going to be upset at people. Like it's one thing if you're curious the first time around, but the fool me twice, no.
Yeah, just tag Cody in it and take his views.
I already get tagged in every fucking news article on Twitter. Like, what's your thoughts? I'm like, stop tagging me in this shit.
That's my thoughts. Leave me alone. So do you have another surprise before we get to the top 3?
Troy, please tell me you have a link to that.
Came out and said we won't touch Steamboat Willie, too dangerous. We try to aim for more quality. What?
Please tell me you have a link to that.
Is that a quote? Ew.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'll kind of pair it a little bit. No Hard Feelings I've talked about quite a bit. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it was a step. It was a step in the R-rated comedy direction that, if we can have something that resembles There's Something About Mary, like raunchy R-rated comedy that, people laugh at. I can't tell you comedies that I've maybe Game Night was the last one, and that's like a Clue tribute.
Ted is the last one that I can remember.
R-rated Game Night
laughing in the fucking theater. Like, and I say it every year. I'm like, comedy's fucking dying as far as movies. Like, the people that make comedies are terrified.
Yeah, everybody's tiptoeing
to be comedies. They're terrified to push the envelope. They are terrified to offend. The only legit comedy anymore is from stand-up comedians that you can't cancel. And that's one of the reasons, one of the movies I have way down the list, Don't Suck, I was hoping for. It had Jamie Kennedy and Matt Rife in it. It ended up being garbage. But yeah, until we get balls again when it comes to making comedy, dude, like comedy just depresses me every year. Where usually the funniest movie of the year is something weird like a Marvel movie not too much lately. Or like, I think the funniest movie this year for me was Air. Not a comedy.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, so to pair the comedy, this isn't R-rated. Well, I mean, it might be a hard PG-13, but No Hard Feelings I've talked about quite a bit. It's not great, but it's a pleasant surprise and it's a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. If you're going to do that Farrelly Brothers R-rated humor type thing that pushes boundaries. I've seen people do YouTube videos about the the age gap between Jennifer Lawrence and like that's funny. It's fiction for fuck's sake.
Mhm.
Um, Dice, can you head that over to Cody?
I clicked it.
You saw it?
I'm
Okay.
already fanning through it. So keep
Thank you,
talking.
Dice. And the other one was like super like glazed over. I saw nobody really talk about this. White Men Can't Jump with what the fuck? Jack Harlow. Uh, Lance Reddick was in it too, and it's so strange. Like after seeing this, I first of all, White Men Can't Jump with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes was great. It was it's not something that comedies aren't things that you really talk about as far as being like revolutionary films, but you go back and watch them because they're comfort food. And White Men Can't Jump kind of captured that in a modern sense. And for every movie that Lance what
First of all, the article, he has a point with what he's saying in the article. He's saying that the reason he wanted to stay away from Steamboat Willie is because it's going to be a logistical nightmare as far as legal issues. Um, he says about all the things that they had to do behind the scenes to kind of navigate with Winnie the Pooh is going to be significantly harder with Mickey Mouse. More or less saying that at best case they're probably going to get a cease and desist from Disney attorneys. Worst case they get sued and shut down. Which I did hear somebody say, because the mask in the Mickey's Mousetrap is Mickey Mouse. It's not really Steamboat Willie. So I heard somebody say they're not going to be surprised if that movie actually gets shut down, because clearly they shot that whole fucking thing before it was in public domain. They just advertised it afterwards. But the part that I laughed at, um, there's another problem in Waterfield's Waterfield is the director and producer. There's another problem in Waterfield's eyes with the Steamboat Willie horror film. It's just played out. Blood and Honey wasn't exactly a critical darling, but Frank Waterfield defends his film by saying it wasn't just a guy in a Pooh mask murdering teens in a cabin in the woods.
stop.
In his version, the 100-Acre Wood characters had turned feral and even devoured Eeyore.
Yeah, that's a line of
That's the
fucking
first 2 minutes of your movie.
and you didn't show it. Oh, by the
Uh,
way, he ate them. Oh, okay. Well,
his
then great
quote,
movie.
I don't know if any of them are going to, try to make them good. That getting repeated all the time, it won't have the same kind of hit. It doesn't have the same kind of longevity for what we're trying to do. I
Stop.
personally believe the only way that this becomes sustainable for us making films is to really focus on doing a select few, the ones we think are best, and making them have a really high quality. Yeah, now you can go fuck yourself.
When are you gonna start with the quality?
That dude is so up his own ass. It's fucking
Holy fuck!
hilarious.
This
No
is the problem.
self-awareness.
This is the problem with people like, yeah, yeah, horror. I don't care just as long as it's a fucking horror movie.
Mhm,
You like demand quality out of your fucking entertainment. Shit. Holy fuck.
mhm. Anyway, you were saying I don't wanna talk about Blood and Honey anymore. Those
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's on Hulu. If you have Hulu, uh, White Men Can't Jump. If you're looking for a chuckle, uh, it surprised me. I'm not saying it's 5 stars or anything, but it certainly surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy it so much. The first one's better, the original, whatever. But Jack Harlow certainly is an interesting uh, take on things. The amount of racial humor that they kept in the movie was quite interesting. And a breath of fresh air, considering how comedies just especially in film, is tiptoeing.
Mhm.
So yeah, and again, I don't know if Lance Reddick knew how sick he was, but there's a lot of movies that came out after he died where art imitated life is the best way I'll put it without blatantly spoiling things. But holy shit, how many movies he was in after he died where he died? It was just like, what the fuck? Did he know? Aaron, Amanda, $10. Thank you. I listened to you guys bantering back and forth on the Thanksgiving review, and the puns were hilarious. You guys are so entertaining. Your check's in the mail.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Sky. Yeah. So, however you want to move forward, I know
Did
that you have
Really quick, did you see a movie called Dark Harvest?
no
I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. It's not like
horror.
outstanding. Yes.
Okay.
It kind of like visually, it kind of has like a Zack Snyder flair to it in some aspects, to where it's like really cool, vivid little slow motion pieces here and there. That's not a selling point for the
Rudy's
whole
hearing
movie,
a
but
ringing in his ears
yeah,
right
exactly. He's gonna fucking pop up here in a second. But it's a neat idea where you have this town, kind of like Children of the Corn. It's this little agriculture, isolated, middle of nowhere bumfuck town. And every single Halloween, they have this scarecrow that they create out of a dead body called Sawtooth Jack. It comes to life on Halloween night, and all of the kids, the teenagers of the town, have to race to try to kill Sawtooth Jack before he makes it to the church in town, and they'll have another year of good crops. If he makes it to the church, then they have a year of famine, and he'll lay waste to the kids on the way there. And so it has a really interesting little setup. The Sawtooth Jack monster design is pretty cool. It's got a few neat little twists and turns. I kind of saw them coming, but I'm not going to say everybody will. Again, not best of the year. I have it right next to Thanksgiving and Scream 6 in my ranking,
Hmm.
but interesting, different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do this quite a bit. I'm wondering if maybe you do it too. Do you give the independent stuff a little bit more credit if it surprises you in a good way?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like you
Like
sandwich it
Exorcist
between.
Believer is absolutely not like worse as far as my enjoyment level as some movies that I have it below, but there's no excuses for Exorcist Believer,
Yeah,
where there's some other movies where I'm like, okay, you tried.
yeah. If you have a $20 million budget, and I feel the same way with a film that was done for 2 million, I'm going to give the $2 million film a little bit more credit.
Hmm.
Yeah, so the floor is yours. The Death of Stalin. That's a couple of years old. Steve Buscemi, right? Interesting.
I
I'll
don't
be
know.
on that. Jacob. So Cody, I don't know if you have any other surprises, but I know we're doing a little something interesting slash different for the top three.
Yeah, however many top we're gonna do. Yeah, I don't think I have any more surprise. I mean, some of my surprises are in my top 10. So I'll what genre do you want to start with? We'll just do
I'm
our
leaving it
best
to you.
of a genre. Okay,
I'm
well,
leaving it to you.
we talked about it a little bit earlier, so I'll just do horror. My number one horror of the year was Talk to Me.
Mm,
Um, I didn't think it would be when I saw it, because I liked it a lot when I saw it, but it just I don't know. It was a movie where I'm like, maybe there'll be a 5-star horror coming out this year.
mm.
Talk to Me. I liked how unique it was for somebody that pretty much doesn't like the possession
Yeah.
subgenre hardly at all,
Mm.
because 95% of them are just kind of wash, rinse, repeat the same elements. I like the fact that this took a really different turn to it, and kind of a modernized turn. I liked how small scale and simple it was, and the creativity that came out of that. The fact that it was made by YouTubers is pretty cool too. I was like seeing like little victory stories like that. Performances were really good, and genuinely unnerving. I wouldn't say it was scary, but I'd lean more into saying it was like disturbing, with some of the violence, like the kid smashing his face, and some of the looks of some of the entities when we actually get to see what they look like. And there was enough things about it that kind of were not spelled out 100%, and wasn't
Yeah.
like fed to you, that it's rewarding to rewatch it. I rewatched it with my wife, and I was paying attention to different details, and there's certain things about it that if we watch it, like you'll come to it with this understanding of certain things, and I'll come to it with this understanding of certain things, but we still kind of end up at the same end point. And so I thought it was a really cool, a cool idea that was just executed really well. And for as much as I think that it was good enough to stand on its own, I'm actually curious to see what they're going to do with a sequel and what they're going to explore further.
Yeah. I watched it a little late. I too am not too keen on the possession stuff, and I guess the hype died down when I saw it 2 weeks ago or whatever, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Nor do I. I
Yeah,
just really enjoyed it.
yeah. My favorite horror of the year is Saw X. Uh, the third act, I liked that what you thought was happening, you started to not trust
Mm-hmm.
certain elements of. I mean, the movie's still pretty fresh, so I won't spoil it. But there's something that's happening in the third act where you're like, oh wait a minute, I'm not sure if I believe what I'm looking at. So
Yeah.
it was really really neat how they certainly. I mean, it felt like the other part. I'll get away from the third act. The insecurity towards the climax of the movie is really neat. I like it when I'm second guessing myself watching the movie. But the fact that it felt like something that was definitely today. I mean, like they were doing the whatever the fuck when they were playing with the hand. Like it wasn't TikTok. Maybe it was TikTok. I don't remember. But it felt very. Yeah, this is what teenagers would be doing.
Yeah, it was very
Putting it on
believable.
social media.
It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, they'd be that fucking stupid. They think it was funny and cool. I mean, you see videos nowadays of kids like putting lighter fluid on them and setting their shit on fire and then jumping in a fucking lake. Like, of course they would play with Satan.
Yeah, eat some Tide Pods, man. Just film it first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's directly behind Saw X. It's second to Saw X, but Saw X was my favorite horror of the year. We talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm. I have Talk to Me and Saw X in both of my top 10, so they're pretty fucking close.
Mm-hmm.
I just gave points for originality.
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on.
Who has seen Cobweb? Cobweb was it's in my top 20. I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah, that was one that was somebody told me to catch up with that, and I know you and Sean had it rather high, and I was like, all right, well, got to put that on the short list. Was Thanksgiving the best Grindhouse trailer turned film?
Yes, but that's not a high bar.
Yeah, that's out of what, 4 movies, and we already had Machete.
What were the other ones? Is Hobo with a Shotgun?
That was made a film too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I get the question now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I like Thanksgiving. I don't love it on the level that everybody else did. I still think everybody's kind of the rose-colored slasher glasses, like oh kills.
Yeah, I get that that Eli Roth really likes making unlikable fucking horror characters, but
Yeah.
I'd like to root for one.
Yeah.
And it just he does douchebags really well, but I need somebody to root for.
Mm-hmm.
Stiff Kittens, $2. Thank you. €2. 2 global. Fuck. 2 Great Britain pounds. Easy for you to say. Anatomy of a Fall, Fallen Leaves, Poor Things. Ugh.
Seen 2 of them.
Poor Things.
Poor Things is
same director from The Favorite,
not
right?
for me. Not for me.
Yeah,
I appreciate how far Emma Stone goes. I thought that fuck the Hulk. What's his name?
Mark Ruffalo.
Yes,
Mark Ruffalo.
I thought he was funny. I liked him. Movie's fucking weird, and a lot of times the problem that I have when you get to these like late November, December movies that are all going for Oscars is that so many of them, I feel like they make their point in the first act, and then they just keep making that same point, and they're like hammering it home to where I kind of get exhausted with it. Where I'm like, I get it, I get it, I get it. Sexual fucking freedom and female sexual empowerment and all. Yeah, cool. I get it.
And she looks absolutely hideous in that movie.
Yeah. Anatomy of a Fall was interesting, but it bored me quite a bit. That was another movie that I did not quite get the hype with. Kind of a courtroom drama that's really trying to hammer home the point of which is kind of the reality of a lot of verdicts. The truth is what you decide that it is. So profound to a certain degree, but again, a movie that just I didn't need to watch the full length that they go to kind of get that point.
Troy, $5. Thank you. Top 3 in no order: Oppenheimer, When Evil Lurks, and The Iron Claw. I'm pretty sure both of us will be talking about at least 2 of those. Hard to rank since they are great in very different ways. Talk to me is a 4. Yeah, we'll cover at least 2 of those.
Yeah. When Evil Lurks, I liked a lot. That was I had since switched it to make Saw X my number 1 because that one I'm just going to watch way more, and I got way more excited by. But that at the time that I left the festival was my favorite film of Fantastic Fest. It's not a movie I could see myself rewatching much. It's pretty fucking bleak and intense. Going for some same very unique take on possession movies. So I really dug it.
Yeah, a lot of people saying they need to see When Evil Lurks. Yeah. What do we got next?
So somebody brought up Oppenheimer. That is not in my top 20.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, that's a movie that I appreciate significantly more than I enjoyed. I can't take anything away from it. It's very well made. There's a lot of great performances and stuff. But the movie of that type that actually cracked my top 10 was Killers of the Flower Moon, the Martin Scorsese one. And that's one that I didn't quite expect to make my top 10 because that's another one where, like, I love Scorsese, but a lot of the stories that he's decided to tell over this last chunk of his career are not necessarily for me. And so especially since he's kind of just colored himself as like the anti-blockbuster guy here lately, that seems to be the only thing that we hear about Scorsese. But he gets to make his, unlimited budget 3-hour epic, and just, I don't know, he kind of contradicts some of what he's saying sometimes. So I was just like, whatever. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be well made, but I don't know if it's going to be my thing. And I really, that movie really stuck with me. Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought that the story that they were going for was pretty gripping. A story of American history I was not aware of, so that makes it even more effective. Really good performances, and it's a movie that has a really long runtime that makes it where it's not a very rewatchable movie, but I actually feel like there was a point to making it so long and lack of a better word, bloated, and it was just to really just hammer home how horrific these events were. Where for like 2.5 hours of the movie is just bleak, horrific stuff over and over and over and over, to where you're like waiting. You're like, are we ever going to get justice? Jesus Christ. Like, you look at the fucking, you look at your phone once and you're like, it's like, we got like 45 minutes to go and there is still no hope. And so, that one of the two, the big top tier directors doing their 3-hour
big long
epics,
fuckers.
I significantly enjoyed Killers of the Flower Moon more.
I think, by the way, our Cody's all grows up, I think. People don't think about how long Scorsese movies are. And like, because he does such a good, I mean, Wolf of Wall Street is 3 hours. That movie cruises. It is such a light 3 hours, if that's possible. But Scorsese, at 2 hours minimum, his films are, and he's a really, really good director. I'm excited to see that. I've got to tear out a chunk of a day to watch it, but that's starting to be available on, I think,
Apple.
streaming. Apple, yeah. So I'll get around to it, but
and I could hear every single line of dialogue. No.
That's
I
kind of a
love you,
Nolan
Nolan, but
thing.
come on.
Yeah, the first, I mean, Oppenheimer is very high for me. Um, but yeah, I remember Emily and I saw it in the theater here, and she was like, "Can you hear the dialogue?" And I'm like, "No."
Mhm,
It was like Dark Knight Rises flashbacks when Bane, the first cut of like the prologue, I think
mhm.
Bane's voice was people were like, "What the fuck? I can't hear him."
Yeah, and then he
And
cranked it way too much,
yeah,
and so it's, like, really loud. They had the same problem with Tenet. Tenet, I saw twice in theaters, and both times there was big sections of dialogue where, "Huh? What?" And for some reason, people defend it. Like, Nolan's a fucking master. I can't tell him shit. So, keep that in mind when I say this, but that feels pretentious to me, the way that he kinda justifies it. Like, I like to record my audio and have all the background noise and everything be natural and stuff. It's like, dude, you're telling a story. And with Oppenheimer, it's 3 plus hours of just dialogue. If I
yeah,
can't hear it, that's the whole experience. And so that was a big frustration with me with Oppenheimer, where I'm like, there's not even like it's not like Tenet where there's a lot of cool shit going on in between the dialogue. It's just motherfuckers talking.
yeah.
I need to
And
hear what they're saying.
well, to go back to the Nefarious thing, this is a much longer version of dialogue, but you do have I mean, you have a fucking nuclear bomb going off towards the end of the movie, so
Mhm.
there's still, I mean, it's not a horror movie, so it's got that 12 Angry Men element, but then you're getting a fucking nuke that's going off.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a true story too, so, like,
Yeah, it's very well done. Like I
yeah,
can't when I'm sure I'm gonna get shit for it whenever I do my full ranking, but it's just I can't be dishonest. It's not a movie that I ever see myself rewatching.
mm,
And it's not a movie that I would say that I fully enjoyed. I just respect it.
yeah,
And it's not really a story or subject matter that interests me too much. And it's very dialogue driven, and it's again very well acted, great ensemble cast. It's directed very well. Like people that say this is his masterpiece, I'm like, I get it. Okay, I get it. It's like all the stars were aligning for him on this one. It's very likely it's going to be Best Picture winner. Cool. It deserves it, but it's just for what my taste is for what I go to the movies for. I prefer the more mind-bendy no side of Nolan versus the historian side of Nolan. I want the Inceptions and the Prestige before I want the Oppenheimers and the Dunkirks.
yeah. Something that I did, Nolan, I love his work, but he does have a bit of a blueprint.
Mhm,
Um, he still manages to get that, like, twist in the 3rd act. I remember when they show Oppenheimer talking to Albert Einstein, I leaned over to Emily and I'm like, "We're gonna find out what Einstein said to Oppenheimer, and it's gonna be something in the 3rd act." And sure enough, what
final
he
scene.
said, yeah, it was like, yeah, this is kind of something we've seen in Inception, where he,
Mhm,
like, shows you something in the very beginning, but, like, you get called back to that. It
mhm,
happens in, Dunkirk, and it happens in Tenet, where, like, he's got this thing where he shows you this scene, and then you get, like, little moments of it throughout the movie, and then you get the reveal of what the dialogue was at the end, and it's
mhm.
like, yeah,
And
you're
he did it effectively in
oh, no,
Oppenheimer.
of
Like, you
course,
leave the
of course.
movie and you're like, "I feel less safe in Earth than I
Yeah.
used to."
Yeah, but, like, he's got this look that, like, I
Yeah.
mean, it
He's got a bag of tricks.
yeah, yeah, I'm not saying there's a
And this is
problem.
arguably his most straightforward movie, and he
Mm,
still finds ways to bring it in there.
yeah, he's got his little, like you said, a bag of tricks. There's Inception elements to it, there's Dunkirk elements to it, but yeah, he telegraphs some things that he does with the way he makes movies, and it I'm not complaining, it's just you can if you've seen all of his movies, you can kinda tell what he's doing as far as visual storytelling is concerned.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Um, to each their own.
Did you see any animated films this year?
Um, I saw Mario Brothers. Yep. I saw Mario Brothers.
Say Mario.
Super Mario, Mario.
It's a me.
Mario.
Yeah, I'm not really a big animation guy. I'm kind of the grumpy old man, the get off my lawn type when it comes
Clint
to
Eastwood.
animation, to where even if it's good, I think our buddy Brian said it the best. I'll watch a 3-star live action film 10 times before I rewatch a 5-star animation film. And that's
Hmm.
absolutely me.
Hmm.
For better or worse, that's me. But this was a really good year for animation. You had Elemental, that was a really nice surprise. I put that on my top 5 surprises. A movie that kind of was taking a giant shit at the box office. I took Riley to go see it just because needed shit to do that day, and we both really enjoyed it. And I was glad that it kind of got a second wind. Everybody's been, jumping the dick of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It came close to my top 10. Amazing animation, really good story, but I was frustrated with how part one it is. I've kind of been using this phrase over the past 2 years, a part one problem, where nowadays movies that are planned to be part of a trilogy or whatever, they forget that you have to tell a whole story and have like a actual satisfying conclusion in each individual movie. And this one feels like it's just ramping up when it ends. So that didn't quite crack my top 10, but what did was TMNT, Mutant Mayhem.
Oh,
That was my number 7. I loved it. I really did. I thought it had a really cool animation to it. Not quite as impressive as Spider-Man, but it gives it a run for its money. But I've always been a Ninja Turtles whore, and I've been waiting ever since those first 2 movies for some new iteration to like recapture the magic. It feels like there's just kind of a stalled attempt after another. There's elements of like the Michael Bay produced ones that I like, but there's no question that was a bit of a mistake in a lot of ways. This is the first time, even though I would have preferred live action, this is the first time that it feels like there's this really passionate fandom of people making a TMNT movie again. And it was a lot of fun. It pretty much nailed most of the characters. It nailed the fun energy that you want from Ninja Turtles. And if I'm not mistaken, they're doing a sequel and they're doing a Paramount Plus series that like follows the movie. And I'm here for both of it. So I really enjoyed that one. That was kind of my number 1 animation movie of the year.
Yeah, mine was Super Mario Brothers. Also the worst animated movie I saw this year.
I like that one. Okay. It's somewhere in the middle of my list. I had fun with it.
Yeah, like 10-year-old me was like, fucking nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I'm not 10. Where are we going next?
You got any action films in your top?
Do I?
I've
Yes.
got 3.
All right. I'm gonna skip this one because I'm looking at it and that's not my number 2. So The Covenant is my highest action.
I still haven't watched that yet. That's one of the movies that
Ooh.
I'm maybe going to try to squeeze in before I do my final little ranking.
It's action drama, but yeah, I mean,
then
if
action adjacent,
I'll drop down. John Wick 4.
Yeah, that's my favorite action movie of the year.
Okay, yeah, we're in agreement as long as drama elements aren't introduced. Lance Reddick be damned. No, rest in peace. I didn't mean to seem insensitive, but holy shit. Holy shit. How are they making John Wick 5 is my question.
I don't know about that either. Like this felt like a really good closing chapter. It felt like they were closing out the character. It felt like they went out with a big fucking bang, which this is a franchise where like you watch the new one and you hear they're making another one and you're like, how the fuck are you going to top that?
Yeah.
And they always manage to in some way or shape or form. And yeah, I don't know. I'm so on the fence about the 5th one because at this point it's like, what right do I have to question them? The 3rd one is a good step below 1, 2, and 4 for me, but I still think it's a pretty good movie. So they haven't made even a mediocre John Wick yet. What reason would I have to doubt them? But this just felt so clean as a final chapter that it's just like, I know you made a shitload of money, guys, but do we is it gonna make sense to come back? How are you gonna top 4? How are you gonna top those action sequences? How are you gonna make sense of this story? Is it gonna be yet another closing chapter? Because like 3 felt like it started as being the end of a trilogy, didn't, and then 4 kind of is the end that we didn't get in 3, and now you're gonna do it with the 5. It feels a little bit like it's all money driven to me.
Yeah, no matter how incredible you make these movies, the story still is going to get in the way at some point. Like the
Mhm.
entire world is after this fucking guy. How many times does this guy have a horseshoe up his ass? Like,
Yes. And for some people, 4 was way too far for that. Like, Woody,
really?
the guy that does, the
Okay.
graphic designs and everything like that, he didn't like this movie at all.
Wow.
And, like, we had, like, a big he's like, "You loved it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I hated it," and give me all the reasons why, and it was all that. It was like, "How many times are you gonna fall down the stairs and get right back up?" And the whole world's that same thing you just said. Like, it's pushed past the point of, I can tolerate this amount of believability, or suspension of disbelief for many people. So what's a 5th one gonna do? Anyway, John Wick Chapter 4, yeah, amazing action sequences, like huge epic scale, one after another, after another, after another. Story-wise, this one was really neat and satisfying. A much better cohesive story than 3 for me. 3 went off the rails a bit. Bill Skarsgård is the villain, best
Mm,
villain of the 4 movies in my mind.
mm,
They did a good job. One of the things that I was so kind of turned off on by the end of 3 was where the relationship between John Wick and Winston ended. It was like, did they just double cross? Was that a triple cross? Like, I don't know what's real. And this one brings that kind of back in a way that makes sense and kind of gets us back to understanding their relationship more. But I'll tell you the moment that I fell in love with this movie, because up to the point that John Wick Chapter 4 came out, 2023 was just like a fucking dud year when it comes to movies. Like January, February, and March, at best, the best movie of the month was like a passable, mediocre 3.5 star movie. Like there was nothing that was like really blowing my skirt up at all for the first 3 months of this year. And I sit down for John Wick Chapter 4. You know, the 3 disappointed me a little bit. So I was like, yeah, this one, maybe
yeah.
it's going to be on par with 3, but it'll still be a good time. I wasn't expecting much out of it. And I loved the movie all the way up to this point. But the moment that like my light bulb went off and I was like, I love this fucking movie, was when you got in the 3rd act, the DJ chick where the camera gets closes in on her lips. Hey, all you boppers out there. And I was like, are they doing the fucking Warriors? And then she basically verbatim repeats the speech from the DJ
Mhm,
and the Warriors. And then she
mhm.
does the little needle drop. And I was like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. And that whole sequence
Fangirl.
where suddenly the whole world is coming for John Wick and he's just getting his suit on and that
Yeah.
song is playing, like that was such a cool and unexpected little homage moment that fits perfectly into the movie.
Mhm,
Or if
mhm.
you don't know the Warriors, if you've never seen it, it
Yeah.
makes total sense for the context of the movie. But if you do, it's like this extra little like awesome Easter egg.
I've heard
That
somebody say, "Oh, the bullet aspect was unique." I'm like, Not quite bullet,
Mhm.
but yeah, I can understand why you appreciate that." But yeah, you nailed it. The Warriors. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but no, that moment, I was like, it was like my film fandom just like, it was like I was the Grinch and my heart grew fucking 5 sizes when that happened. I was like, "We're back, bitches! Movies are good again."
Yeah, the first when I thought Donnie Yen's character was just hungover in the beginning, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he was awesome.
yeah, he's playing a fucking slob." But then when he had the
Even
walkie,
the dude with the dog or the cat or whatever the fuck,
yeah,
the
the
back,
black guy, yeah,
yeah, he
the
was cool.
tracer.
Yeah.
Was that what they called him?
Mr.
The
Nobody
tracker.
or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't rewatched the movie yet because it's been a busy fucking year, but I can't wait to.
yeah, John Wick. If you have a dog, you know what they're going to be tugging at with the dog. But when we see Donnie Yen with the walking stick, I'm like, he's playing a fucking blind guy again, uh, because he's blind in Rogue One.
Mhm.
But it makes it. I mean, if you're bringing Donnie Yen, he's a really popular uh, martial arts actor. So,
Mhm.
like, if you know who he is, you're like, yeah, Donnie Yen's gonna kick fucking Keanu Reeves' ass." So you have to make him blind to make it somewhat even.
Mhm.
If you're bringing who
And he
they
still
are
gives
out,
him a run for his money.
fucking yeah, he does.
This isn't fucking fair. You need to be deaf too.
Yeah. So, like, there are a couple of things. I didn't realize that Scott Adkins was the heavyset guy who rigged the card game, and I'm like, oh shit.
Mhm.
Dennis is a big time fan of his, and uh, yeah, when he was throwing kicks, I'm like, wait a minute, that guy can't throw legs like that. That I didn't realize he was in a fat suit, so
Mhm.
there's that. But um, what's his face? Oh, what the fuck from Pet Cemetery 2 and Dexter New Blood. The fact that he was in it.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, Clancy Brown. I was like, holy shit.
Mhm.
The fact that they keep adding like new lore every
Mhm.
time around, it's like, and it's an actor that you know and or love. It's just like, fuck. All right, I'm okay with this, but to not spoil it, it's like you keep teasing these like well, not cliffhangers, but the opposite of cliffhangers, and it's like, just why write that ending if you know that, like, it's the Friday the 13th for me all over again. Like, how many times are you gonna make the fucking sequel next year
Mhm.
without, like, thinking, "All right, are we worried about money or story?" Because the effort that they put into cinematography and, effects and choreography, like, the fucking movies are gorgeous. Like, I can't name
Not
you
only that, you gotta think that, like, Keanu Reeves just himself has probably gotta be like, I'm good. Like, I'm fucking exhausted, guys. I've done 4 of these. Like, I think I've proved my point that I'm a bad motherfucker
Mm.
again. I'm ready to do some other shit."
Yeah, through
And
multiple generations, this fucking guy.
yeah, dude, every time you forget how awesome that guy is, he comes back. And it's like, "Oh, yeah." You had fucking Point Break and all that, and then he goes away, and then you have The Matrix, and you're like, "Oh,
Mm.
yeah." And then The Matrix goes away and decided to come back one more time. But we don't talk about that one. And then John Wick comes back, and you're like, "Oh, yeah." And so, yeah, you gotta think these movies are fucking exhausting for him. He's in, like, every scene, and how much choreography does it take to just do one of these sequences? And there's, like,
Yeah,
25 in every one, and they have to go bigger.
the one thing that like people complain about with action is, you keep editing and cutting away from the action.
Mhm,
Not here. They're
mhm,
showing like, holy fuck. I can see that's Keanu Reeves. What the fuck?
yeah,
And they're just holding the camera steady. It's incredible.
mhm.
Troy, $5. Thank you. Nothing blowing up your skirt lately. What the hell have you been paying me for, Cody?
Silence.
Yeah, you're the hustlee, Troy. But yeah, John Wick's incredible, but I mean, not to shit on it. I felt like the end of 4 was a really good way to wrap it up.
Me
Let it
too.
simmer. Let it simmer for a bit.
Well,
Like,
the problem was, they set themselves up for, like, a perfect trilogy. If they mixed the
mm,
best elements of 3 and the best elements of 4, that could have been, like, a monumental trilogy. Because you get 1 where, okay, he's back in the game now. Then you get to 2 where he's fully back into the game, and then he breaks the fucking rules, and now he's public enemy number 1, and the high table's coming for him. That very clearly set up a 3rd film being, he's gonna take the fight to the high table and fucking dismantle this thing from within, and they head that direction in 3, but then don't actually pay it off. And that's kind of what 4 does, but not in, like, the most grandiose way that you're thinking. Like, he doesn't walk into the high table and take out all these bad motherfuckers. He takes out, like, the face of it with Bill Skarsgård, and
mm,
the way that they tie everything back in with his wife and him on the staircase and everything. It's like, okay, that is emotionally satisfying. It's a nice bookend for the character. It pretty much gives us the victory that we wanted in one way or another. So I'm right there with you. I'm like, don't go too far. You're fuck once in a while you're gonna come up with with a bad hand. So let's not press our luck here. You
yeah.
got 4 movies that are pretty kick ass. Let's
Yeah, the dealer's gonna pull up 5 twos.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I saw, like, a marketing or a promo photo for 5, and I was like, "No. No,
Well,
what are you doing?"
they said when 4 came out that there was the director and Keanu Reeves were more or less dancing around saying this is it. And then, like, after this one was so successful, they were like, "Well, maybe not. I don't know." And so it might be a couple of years. Maybe they need to let their fucking, shoulders get iced or something, but,
Yeah.
money
Keanu's
money
gotta be close
talks.
to 60 by now.
Yeah.
Eh. I mean, uh, I'm there for it. I'm just kind of like, all right, how are you not gonna fuck this up?
Yeah.
But I mean, they kind of like they didn't ignore the ending of 3, but like I remember when 3 was over, I was like, "Ugh, fuck, really off a building?"
Yeah.
And they just kinda, like, skated over that for 4 in the beginning. I was like, I actually don't care, oddly enough. That's really weird how pissed I was at the end of 3, but now it's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, alright."
Yeah. I felt that way at the end of 3 where there was so many elements of that end where it was like, really, we're not gonna end this here. We're gonna just push it off for a 4. Oh, now he can survive that giant fall. Oh, now
Yeah,
Winston's a bad guy. What the fuck are you doing? It was like one
yeah.
after another where I'm like, that was a weird taste to like leave me sucking on for the end of this movie.
I was right, Dice. Almost 60.
Shit.
59 on going on 60.
I hope I look that good when I'm 40.
Fuck, I can't look that good.
You've already passed it. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. What do we have left?
I mean, do you have any other? Did you see Air? Air is in my
It
top 5.
I don't know if that's an action.
No. Well, yeah,
Oh,
well, action. Okay, yeah, I have
no.
I have Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning right
Yeah,
behind John
that's
Wick
right
Chapter
behind
4.
John Wick for me as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was badass. We can't call it part 1 anymore. I guess they're retconning that. There's not going to be part 2. They're going to call it something else, which is weird. You didn't
Mm,
hear that?
no.
I don't know. Well, the movie didn't succeed financially, so I think they're just grasping at straws at why. But I thought the movie was badass.
Mm,
I think it was like number 4 in my ranking, but the whole fucking franchise, I mean, save for 2, which I still have a lot of fun with, the whole franchise is great.
mm.
And this one, Tom Cruise has done some badass shit when the badass shit that he's doing in this one doesn't impress quite as much as some of the things that he did in the last
Yeah.
couple, even though he's jumping off a fucking cliff in a
Fucking
a
dude took a
motorcycle.
motorcycle off a mountain for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and so the action sequences were great. I really liked what they did with the characters. Haley Atwell was a lot of fun in this one, and I really liked the AI angle. A lot of people bitched about that. I thought that was actually a really well done move to have like a different villain where they're constantly like the villain's like 10 steps ahead of them. And even in the time that it came out where AI is becoming like this big topic of discussion, it's pretty relevant. So I
Yeah.
thought this was great. And this is the only movie of the last couple of years that's a part 1 that doesn't have the part 1 problem. It tells a whole story,
Mhm.
comes to a nice conclusion, satisfies almost everything, and just leaves little threads to be followed up. It doesn't like cut off the 3rd act and say, see you next time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to bookend what we opened with, um, The Mummy is a blip on the radar, the 2017 Mummy. Uh,
Yeah.
whatever you think about the human being, Tom Cruise, the actor, the producer, the guy who's making movies will personally do everything he can to will a film to be respected as far
Yeah.
as what he's doing with stunts and shit. And fucking guy's gonna kill himself trying to entertain people for fuck's sake. It, it, whether or not you're completely on board with the movie, it's entertaining. And when you realize that Tom Cruise is actually taking a motorcycle off a fucking mountain, uh,
Mhm.
fucking hell, to get the shot in camera.
Mhm. And they're
And
actually doing the handcuff in the car and
oh
the
yeah,
train sequence and stuff like that, and it's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, just to respect alone, it gets a couple of points from me. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the worst Mission Impossible is 2, and it's not really saying anything negative. It's just kind of hokey.
Yeah.
John
John Woo.
Woo? Yeah. All right, we get it. Doves. Stop. Uh, but eh, I mean, Fallout, I think is my favorite Mission Impossible. I feel like that was like a perfect action movie, but
I agree. Mine's Ghost Protocol, but Fallout's a close number 2. Ghost Protocol to
is that
me,
the building?
yes.
Mm,
The element of Ghost Protocol that I love it for that's kind of missing from the McQuarrie ones, for all the wonderful things that his movies have done to kinda elevate the series. 4 has a really good team dynamic and sense of humor. That's a really like fun, enjoyable movie. So even the only thing about that movie that kind of sucks is the villain, but that one's my favorite.
Is that the one that opens up where he's in like the gulag or whatever, the Russian prison?
Prison, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good time. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah.
Mhm.
My friend.
Did you see Extraction 2?
I did.
That one's in my top 5 too.
That's
I
17
almost
points?
at one point my top 3 were all action films.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm looking. So my number 2 that I watched when I was sick. I really need to watch it again. The Killer.
Really?
Yeah, I need to
That
watch it again.
that made my well, no, a lot of people love it, so I'm not like challenging you on it. That was one of my more disappointing movies.
Hmm.
That one is right in the middle of my list, actually. I love Fincher, and I think
Yeah.
my expectations for Fincher is what hurt it so much because it's such a simple, low-key movie. Um, it's really well done. I think Fassbender's really good in it. There's a pretty good fight scene in it, although when I watched it, it might have been the glare from the time of day I watched it. I couldn't see it too much. It was so dark.
Mm.
But for like an assassin movie, it's a very run-of-the-mill story that we've seen so many times. It's Born Identity and a bunch of others where the hit goes wrong. Now I have to kind of go backwards up to whatever the hit came from and take everybody out because they're all after me.
Mhm. I liked the fact that he was so methodical and he's like, "All right, breathe, don't do this, don't do that." And it's just like, "All right, you fucked up now." What? He's
Mhm.
just like so planned everything out and he sets the table for having to like even when like they're showing him who he's staking out, it's like, dude, you're really kind of setting yourself up for failure here. Like, why are you? Oh, okay, I see.
Mhm.
And I I don't know why I didn't expect him to fuck up, but for some reason, like I enjoyed that, and I was like, all right, cool. This guy who's so painstaking with his planning process, and I was just along for the ride. Again, I watched it sick, so I don't know. I could have watched fucking I don't know, fucking 65 during that period and been like, "Oh my god, it's so much better the second time." So, I might need to revisit that,
Mhm.
but it was just something that I don't know, it might have been chicken soup to my movie watching soul.
Yeah. I just had high expectations for it because of Fincher, and it was just kind of one of his quieter, less interesting movies to me.
Yeah.
Did you see Gran Turismo?
I didn't. I
You
heard
didn't?
that was surprisingly good.
That made my top 10, surprisingly enough.
Hmm.
That was a really enjoyable, like, sports underdog type movie.
It's a racing movie or like game, right? That's based on the
It's a
based on
true
game?
story that yeah, it's not so much a video game movie, even though it's based off of the video game Gran Turismo. It's a true story of this, there was this, like, boot camp thing where Gran Turismo is apparently, like, a really fucking legit racing simulator. I've never played it. I'm not a big racing guy. But there was like this boot camp promo thing that they did where they got the best Gran Turismo players together and they kind of battled it out one by one. And the person that comes out on top actually gets a shot to be an actual racer in like the F1.
Hmm.
So it's the real story of this actual racer, how he was a gamer that turned pro.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And you got David Harbour in there as like the cranky coach. And it was fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've heard that it's surprisingly good, but,
You would like it.
okay. I have 50 movies to catch up on now. Thank you.
What was your number one? You said
My
Killer
number
was number
1,
two.
Oppenheimer was my 1, but, yeah, and Covenant was 3, but I'm gonna guess that if I watch The Killer again, Covenant might be in my 2, and Barbie was my 4.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I like Barbie.
I was
It
there for
wasn't
it.
it
Sure.
wasn't up near the top for me, but I liked it. It was clever for the most part with what it was doing. A little
Yeah.
heavy-handed by the end, but
Hmm,
I liked it.
Yep.
My number one was, which surprisingly enough, was Iron Claw.
Hmm.
Hey, good timing with that one. Yeah, it's funny. It's a movie that I saw and I was like, "Yeah, that's top 10. That's gonna crack top 10, maybe at number 10." And then it just stuck with me. Kept thinking about it and just slowly started to climb the list. And with a year where, like, the big flashy blockbusters, where typically one of those is always my number 1, have disappointed so much. Like, 2023 had some great movies, but overall, very mediocre year for movies, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
no, it's an abortion of a year for movies.
yeah, a movie like Iron Claw that makes this very distinct, like, emotional impact on me just started to rise the ranks to where, like, that experience is gonna stand out to me above any blockbuster experience that I might rewatch more, but that one's
What did you know about the real story going into it? Fucking A.
dick,
Nice.
and I think that actually helped me because there is
I bet.
the biggest criticism I've heard from the movie is they actually remove one of the brothers. They kind of take the 2 younger brothers and mold them into one character for the movie,
Oh,
and
really?
so people that are, like, really big into the family or really sticklers for real life details have bitched about that quite a bit, especially after you see the movie. I think it was the appropriate choice because the movie is so depressing and so devastating for most of the runtime. Like, it's literally like one tragedy after another, after another, after another. And when the movie was done, I immediately, like, started to look up the real story, and
Yeah.
I was shocked to find out there was actually another brother
A
that
and
befell the tragedy, and I was just like, "Dude, I don't even know if there was no more room in that movie for a whole
I
other tragic character."
fucking need to see that. One of the brothers or one of the Von Erichs, I don't know if it was a brother, said, I don't care. I understand that you have to make a movie that is sort of, has real elements infused in it. Just get across that we love each other." And
It had to
he
be
said it.
Kevin because I think he's the only
Yeah.
surviving
Yeah, that's the name.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kevin.
that's the
And
one that Zac Efron plays, and
he
that's
sings its praises.
absolutely it's absolutely the victory of the movie. Like, the movie explores the good of family and the bad of family. The good side of it being how much these brothers loved each other and
Yep,
how much
that's
they
the one
took
thing
care of each other. They nailed it.
that was the
Like,
one note he had. Just make sure that you get across that we loved each other.
yeah, they took care of each other, they built each other up, they kind of they tried to protect each other from the bad side of things
Mhm.
and some in many ways failed. And then the bad side of family being this father, this patriarch of this family just putting all of his hopes and dreams onto his sons and making them live out his life that he wanted and just
Who did Flip from, Shameless or The
flip.
Bear? Yeah.
He
Who did he
played
end up Carrie? Was it Carrie
Carrie.
Von Erich?
Yes. And he would have been the one to get me to buy my ticket because I've been a big fan
Mhm,
of him ever since Shameless. I've loved The
mhm.
Bear, and so, Zac Efron's great, but, I if I wouldn't have heard all the buzz for this movie, he would have been the
Right,
element that would have got me to check it out,
right.
and he's great too. Like, as for as impressive as Zac Efron is with just, like, fucking hulking up, he's monstrous. Jeremy Allen White bulks the fuck up too. And
Fucking
they're both
awesome.
kind of the main focus of the movie for the most
Mhm.
part. There's 2 other brothers that get a lot of focus, but
It's funny that Lip played Carrie because Carrie is probably the most popular of the
mhm.
Von Erichs. Because I remember, hearing about him in wrestling, or
They
the
they they
WWE
get
or
that across in the movie.
okay.
Kevin Von Erich is the
Oldest?
yes, but he's the I think so. But he's the one that we're kinda seeing the story through for the most part, and he's the one who survives, and so that kinda have to have it that way, but he doesn't necessarily get all the glory. Without saying too much, like, Carrie is the one who was, like, the favorite,
Mhm.
and, the other brother kinda got there first. He was always the one who kinda got sidelined, but always stuck with it even though he was constantly getting fucked over and overlooked because he wanted to keep everything together and wanted to
I
protect
can
his
relate.
brothers, and yeah, and so, yeah, it's a movie that just does a really good job at getting across that good part of it, just the brothers loving each other and the love of family and the power of how tight family can be, and also the dark side of it with this father just putting all of this weight on his kids, and that being the only thing that he sees is whether they live up to that or not, and how it just it literally kills them, figuratively and literally just kills them. And it's the last 3 scenes of the movie back to back, and I won't get into any detail because I know you're going to watch it. The most emotionally devastating stuff that I've seen in a very long time. Like line delivery that just cripples you.
Hmm.
Where I could, if I was going to recite the lines and give you context to what it actually means, I wouldn't be able to do it without tearing up.
Fuck.
Like I was talking about it in my video today, and you could probably hear it in my voice. Like I was holding back quite a bit to not get like teary-eyed when I was filming this, like just describing the impact that it had on me. There's not many movies that can do that, especially ones that aren't dealing with very specific things that just are just like direct lines to
Right.
getting me really choked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really emotionally potent movie.
Yeah, I don't know much about the rest of the Von Erichs. I do know Kerry's story because you know, I'm a wrestling fan. I watched WWE quite a bit. So um I mean I've watched true stories, but I mean fuck, you watch Titanic, you know it sinks. Uh to have different elements that are thrown in there or not thrown in there, but other things that I don't know is um
That was the
I
other rewarding side of it for me is I'm not a wrestling fan.
yeah.
I never heard of the Von Erich. So learning about the family as well as learning how the wrestling industry works and how it used to work in the 70s and 80s was really fascinating too. So
Hmm.
that was the other side of the movie that was just really enjoyable and really interesting before the tragedy even started.
Yeah, not like they're one-to-one dramatic elements, but I felt like that with Lords of Chaos. I didn't know anything about the band, the people, any of that shit. Sorry.
Mhm.
Um, when I watched it, I was like, "Oh man, I'm actually kind of glad I didn't know anything about it because I got to appreciate what was happening in the film more."
Mhm.
Sometimes you're at a detriment knowing what actually happens because you can't really you like in the back of your head, like, all right, when is this person gonna do this? Or you
Yeah,
know, whatever.
you know the events, and you
Yeah.
also like you have a weird response to the creative liberties that they take,
Yes.
like
Yes.
molding 2 characters into one. That's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why I'm dreading whenever we get like a Metallica biopic, because the
Ah,
whole time I'm gonna be
cliff.
like, "That didn't happen, and
Mm.
that's absolutely some fucking notes that Lars gave them." Like, that's how I felt when I watched The Dirt, where it was just like
Oh,
these well-known Motley Crue stories, just one after another after another. It was like, we already know all this shit, and it was more interesting hearing it than seeing this version.
I felt the
So
same way
it's
for,
Bohemian Rhapsody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you not have the band members be producers, please? Stop. Just fucking stop. Oh,
We
wow, you
all
guys
did no wrong. It was
yeah,
just Freddie, and he wasn't really all that crazy.
Freddy showed up late, and then we wrote "We Will Rock You" while he was fucking drunk. Oh, wow. I'm sure that's what really happened.
Yeah.
Uh,
So surprisingly, that ended up being my number one. I toyed with it for a little while, and I was just like, what movie experience am I like really is gonna float to the top for me on 2023? And as much as I loved a lot of the movies in my top 10, that was the one that just came up.
it's I mean, I don't know if it's a exclamation point or just a 2023 was weird, just weird for film, and the fact that your favorite movie, well, your favorite drama of 2023 is The Iron Claw, like, the fuck? What did you do with Brian? Why did you eat Brian's taste?
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if it's a symptom of 2023 or,
Oh, it
like
absolutely is. It absolutely is. Like I said, when I was in my video, I say that where 2023, like if I look back at the years previous, like last year, my number one was the Batman.
hmm,
And there's a couple years ago, it was Logan, and then it was Deadpool. Like my number one is always like either the most kick-ass horror movie or the most kick-ass action movie or whatever. It's always some form of blockbuster entertainment because
mhm.
it was like this was the best. I'm gonna rewatch the shit out of this, and that's the movie from this year that I'm just gonna constantly rewatch. And this year, while we had a few of those movies, like John Wick Chapter 4, Mission Impossible, things like that, that
Sure.
fit that bill that were great, the vast majority of movies that went for that experience just fell flat. or bombed at the box office or failed to make an impact or disappointed us like Indiana Jones. And so it's absolutely a symptom of a year like that, where it was just like such a jam-packed, overstuffed year of mediocre blockbusters.
Yeah.
Or like every fucking weekend, there was like 2 new movies you had to watch. One of the reasons why I got all the way to 120. A movie like Iron Claw that comes out of nowhere in the last week of the year that's just really emotionally potent and this true story and great performances and all that. That rises above the blockbuster experience for me,
Yeah.
just because 2023, when I think blockbusters of 2023, I think failure. I think disappointment.
Yeah, especially in 2023, yeah. And I think the funny thing is all of these big studios, all these big fucking financial flops, and it's they had the strikes. So it's like whatever you had in the can, you're gonna trickle that out, whatever. But now you have to sit with the failure that was 2023. And what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Mhm,
Win these people back? Because God knows theaters are fucking horrified.
mhm.
And you want to keep making money off movies, you better bring it, because it looks like people are fucking tired of your shit.
I mean, you just look at, I mean, the whole viral part of it certainly added into there, but you look at like some of the top grossing films of this year, Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Mm,
Barbie's a recognizable IP, but the movie is not what you would expect a Barbie movie to be. And Oppenheimer, 3-hour plus dialogue driven movie about World War II and the atomic bomb,
yeah,
almost $1 billion. When
yeah,
the fuck does that happen? How is there not like 5 Marvel movies in the top 10 of the year? I think there's 1.
dude. Like it Marvel turned into a pumpkin. I mean, listen, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is my highest ranked comic movie. Other than that, they fucking just ate pavement in 2023.
Yeah, it's my top one too.
I mean, Ant-Man, the Marvels. What the fuck else did they do?
Uh, that might have been it for Marvel, but we
Okay.
had a lot from DC, and I did
Ooh,
like The Flash despite its very glaring issues, but and Blue Beetle I actually had fun with too, but those are,
nice.
closer to the middle of my list. But Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, got nothing out of that experience.
Yeah, Aquaman 2, um, their last gasp, and it, um, what did it make? 20,000,000
Oh, I
on,
don't know.
like,
They
Christmas weekend? Like,
DC bombed
mm,
back to back to back to back this year.
yeah,
All those people say, Michael Keaton, Batman's gonna make this $1 billion movie. I was like, "You're high off your ass." I didn't expect it to bomb, but I was like, "There ain't no fucking way."
yeah,
And wow.
yeah, I'm sorry, if Batman
Maybe
versus
maybe
Superman's
don't
gonna fail, yeah,
maybe don't announce that your universe is ending and being
ending,
rebooted when you have 4 fucking movies left in the can. Maybe
yeah,
that's the lesson to be learned.
yeah, we're all done with this, but there's 5 more coming. Wait, what?
Yeah. One of them we're just gonna write off for taxes.
That was like the beginning of the end. Like, yeah, we're just gonna tax purposes. Wait, what the fuck? It's done. What do you mean tax purposes?
Yeah.
And like that's I'm talking about the business side a bit, but they're taking what they're doing for granted a little too much, and people are like, I'm not coming to watch your fucking bullshit anymore. Like, your skeptical, fucking cynical approach to just making money. You're not caring about telling stories and you know entertaining people anymore. You're just like, here's the thing you like. I mean, it goes back to the horror fans. Like, yeah, it's Spider-Man again. You fucks, but now give me money.
Mhm.
Well, hold on a second. How about you tell me a story?
Yeah, this is definitely the year where the things are gonna have to change. Like,
Oh
comic
yeah.
book movies have been almost impenetrable for well over a decade, and this is the last 2 years, but especially this year is
Oh
where
my
people
god.
made a statement where they're like, "Yeah, you gotta put some fucking effort in. We're not just
Yeah.
coming for nothing. Sorry." That doesn't work anymore.
And it's not Jonathan Major's fault. Sorry. Nice
Yeah.
try.
Mhm.
Sorry, Dice. I didn't mean to backhanded call you out. I'm not a big enough fan to get butthurt the way hardcore fans do. Well, yeah, I've that's
4? Oh, that was a part 2 to his Star Wars comment just above that.
oh, wait, what? Uh, I'm a casual Star Wars fan. I'm always excited for news. Yeah.
Star Wars has lost all my excitement.
Yeah. I'm a big Star Wars guy, but like, I'm just like,
I
stop.
just don't care anymore. Like
Yeah.
the last number of things I've watched from Star Wars, I haven't watched Andor. Everybody says that's good, so I'll
Yeah.
take it off the table. But everything that I have watched, I mean, like The Last Jedi, I didn't like at all. Just wasn't for me. It didn't work. Rise of Skywalker, I think I convinced myself that I liked it when I first saw it because it was like more somewhat in the direction I wanted things to go, but that movie was just a disaster. I watched Obi-Wan. That was like, this could have been a good movie. This is a very dull 6-episode series with some embarrassing shit in it. I had no interest in Ahsoka, or I still haven't watched past season 1 of Mandalorian because I keep hearing that it's just gone down since season 1.
Yeah,
And
Mandalorian, I enjoyed, but then when they were like, "Yeah, you need to watch Boba Fett," I'm like, "I don't what? No, I'm not
yeah,
doing this. Connect the dots to."
yeah, that's the Disney Plus. I'm not doing homework. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Same thing with the Marvels. Like, I'm not watching 3 series and 4 movies to understand your new movie that I don't even care about.
right, right. Yeah,
But yeah, Star Wars is at a point where it's like you've announced so much shit that interested me and then canceled it and greenlit shit that I have no interest in and stuck with it. Like I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like even the fact that, and I don't blame Daisy Ridley. I actually liked her character more than most people. Why we're doing a Rey movie after the reception of that character in that trilogy is
yeah,
beyond fucking me. And
yeah.
like I just don't care. That franchise Disney has absolutely fumbled multiple times.
When does it take place? Is it after Rise of
Yeah,
Skywalker?
yeah. I don't know what the story is gonna be, but it's Rey Skywalker movie, and all we know now is a female director, and the comments that she's made so far turned me off to where it's just like, do we have to start with political agenda, or do we have to start with you trying to make a fucking point towards men? Like, can you just sell us with your fucking story? Is that
Yeah,
too much to ask nowadays? I don't go to the movies to hear your opinions on shit. I come to
yeah,
experience a story.
yeah. I mean, religion, politics, all that shit. We're going to these fucking things to escape all that shit. Like, why are you bringing it?
Yeah, it's exhausting.
For fuck's sake! Wait, who's left? It's just gonna be Ray. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, it's just a movie that she's gonna be the lead of. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know who's asking for that. Nobody. Even the people that kinda liked the trilogy, it's just like, what no, we're
Yeah.
done.
I mean, I mean, Daisy Ridley, I'm a fan, but
I love The
what
Force Awakens, but
yeah.
just yeah.
I mean, a lot of the cast didn't deserve what the fuck that, like, was being said to them, but at the same time, like,
They openly mocked that series towards the end of it. Like, there's clips out there where especially John Boyega was just like, "Dude, fuck that. Like,
yeah,
fuck you
they're not gonna
guys."
Disney Plus me.
Yeah. Well, even there's one where they're making fun of things in Rise of Skywalker. Like, there's a great clip where you remember the scene where they're on that little, that that ship or whatever, the carrier, and there's like a
Oh, the
stormtrooper with a
horses?
jetpack, and he's like, "They
Oh.
can fly now," and he goes, "Yeah, they can fly now." And then there's a clip where they're making fun of it, and John Boyega's like, "Yeah, I think we're too stupid to remember that they've been flying since the fucking Clone Wars." Like, it's just he knows what he's talking about, and it's just like, yeah, they don't know what the fuck happened with those 2 sequels. Like, they don't hide their thoughts on it whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know what I watched, but they showed like Daisy Ridley when she was doing like the night show rounds, and like
Mhm.
her face was just like, I have to do another one of these fucking things.
Well, it's gotta be deflating. Like, think about how exciting that is it when you're signing on for a 3 picture, a new trilogy of Star Wars, and you're so passionate about where things are going, and then there's just no plan. You
Yeah,
bring in Ryan Johnson, he kind of systematically
yeah,
dismantles everything that the first movie did, and then the third movie comes in and systematically dismantles everything the second movie did, and
yeah,
it's just a fucking they dropped all their papers and shuffled them back together.
yeah. Uh, eh, eh, I mean, the I liked Last Jedi as a standalone film. It being the middle of a trilogy doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
Mhm.
if I just watched The Last Jedi, as far as technically and whatever, that movie ends. There's no Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, there's fucking shit on the horizon. It just ends like, oh, a kid with a broom. He's the future.
Mhm.
Eh, and then of course, eh, I don't blame them for what they did with the Rise of Skywalker, but at the same time, like, what do you guys like? Can you just delay the movie?
Yeah.
Delay the movie and figure out what the fuck you're gonna do.
It just goes back to the question. It's like, how the fuck did you green light and start executing a Star Wars trilogy with no plan?
Yeah, you guys own Marvel. Like, what? Just walk down the hall, ask them, "Hey, we just bought this majorly expensive fucking thing.
Mhm.
Can you just give us a little help with the blueprint?"
Yeah.
Woof.
Mhm. Thanks for getting us on that, Richard. Let's bitch about Star Wars for 20 minutes.
Yeah, if anybody
How
has,
relieved are you that we're getting very few comic book films next year?
oh my god,
I
that,
actually forgot about all the Sony Spider-Man, Spider-Verse shit that they were doing. I thought we were only getting Deadpool 3, and I was, like, elated. I was like,
wasn't
"Oh,
that
thank
delayed too?
God." No, 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 it's coming.
I thought that was having major issues behind
I
the scenes.
mean, who knows what's gonna happen in the future? I think there's still gonna be a lot of delays that we don't know about yet, but Deadpool 3 is the only Marvel movie that's slated to come out. There's no DC movies till 2025, and then we have those
Skip that.
3 yeah, we have those 3 Spider-Man movies, the Madam Web and the Craven and Venom 3 maybe, but I
Madam
I'm
Web looks
I'm
better.
actually I'm like and I love my good comic book movies, but I am so ready for a fucking break.
Yep. I'm like the fact that everybody else is like, "Now we're done." I'm like, "Where have you guys been? It's been half a decade. Well, let's catch up."
Yep.
But yeah, I've said it numerous times that I don't have fatigue. I'm in a fucking comic book a coma.
Just specific types of comic book movies. It's the Shazam 2s, the Aquaman 2 that are just like PG-13, goofy, colorful world, flying dude punching other flying dude. Like those are the superhero movies that I'm just fucking burnt on. Like
Poor
give me the
DC.
Batman 2, give me Deadpool 3. Guardians of the Galaxy was a really nice little
Mm,
refreshing chapter because it
mm.
was allowed to just be a Guardians of the Galaxy closing chapter and
And
not
they made up
be
for 2.
yes, made 2 better actually.
Yeah.
Um and so I'm still here for comic book movies, but you gotta have something. Like, you've cranked out so many of them over the past decade. You gotta do something to stand out. You can't just they're too samey.
Yeah.
They're just empty experiences at this point. And I can't even like, even the ones that are mediocre, I just get nothing out of it. I just walk out and go, what happened? I don't know."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, we talked about Indiana Jones, like that. Yeah, it's just, oh, okay. Here's the thing we spent money on. Go see it. No, no.
Mhm.
What? Why?
Yep.
Uh, like I have other movies like Operation Fortune. I have that above stuff that a lot of studios would be pissed about. Yeah, I have
Did you see Dumb Money?
I did.
That's
I have
pretty
that.
high on my list too. I really
uh,
enjoyed that one.
That's 18. It's just below Extraction 2 for me.
Mhm. How about Infinity Pool?
No,
That's a weird fucking
that's
movie
a
that's very
Cronenberg movie, right? Like
yeah,
Cronenberg's son?
Brandon, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really trippy. I actually dug that one a lot. That stuck with me all year since January.
$2 Manny. Off topic, what have you guys seen Masters of Horror? Yes, I believe John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns with Daryl Dixon in it is probably my favorite episode of that series. I really enjoy Cigarette Burns. Are you familiar with Masters of Horror? It's a Showtime series. They had a bunch of prominent horror directors that like had like a Tales from the Crypt type
Okay.
series. Um, yeah. Okay, Troy, good segue. Uh, one movie you're both most anticipating for 24. Thank you for your continued membership, Troy.
Vaccine is my number 1 horror movie I'm
Yep,
anticipating for
yep.
next year. Let me pull up 2024 movie releases because I'm gonna forget them. It's so hard to keep track of when you see so many, like, what the fuck's coming out. Dune 2, really anticipating that one. Wish I could have saw it this year.
Mm.
Let's see. Scrolling through. Argyle looks fun. I like
Yeah,
Matthew Vaughn.
that's next month. That's
Yeah.
less than a month away.
Mm-hmm. Dune Part 2 in March.
Juliet says, "I wish comic book movies had actual directors involved again, like real auteurs like Nolan."
That's what I'm really hoping James Gunn is going to do in DC, where they have a universe, but he kind of lets the filmmakers do their thing a little bit more. Because Marvel certainly has lost sight of that. Like there's elements, like the best example to me is Doctor Strange 2. There's segments of Doctor Strange 2 where you're like, this is fucking Sam Raimi. This is all Sam Raimi.
When he's a zombie or whatever, like,
and then there's large chunks of the movie where you're like, Kevin Feige directed that. Where it's like anybody could have fucking done that. Like the first third of that movie is like anybody that works for Marvel could have done this. But then you get the little witch sequences and the little fucking crash zooms and you're like, Sam Raimi was there that day.
Very Raimi parts, yeah.
Yeah. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in March. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, to Juliet's point, the fact that Edgar Wright brought them Ant-Man and was so turned off by the experience, he was like, have it. I don't give a shit. Like,
just fucking take it.
Give me Edgar Wright. Why?
Yeah.
I'm hyped for Wolfman and Nosferatu.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see footage before I decide whether.
I got a lot of confidence in those. Fall Guy looks like it's going to be fun. The Ryan Gosling, he's the stunt man, and he's like the action hero or whatever.
With what's her face from Quiet Place?
Yeah.
That trailer was.
I'm curious about Furiosa. I'm not as hyped for it as everybody else seems to be. I didn't really need more Furiosa. I think that was. Yeah. I'd rather see another Mad Max movie.
It's about 7 years too late.
Yeah, that too. One that is very high on my list, but I'm also a bit nervous about is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Hey, look, perfect timing there with Gavin's little fucking avatar. I love that trilogy. The trailer looked great. The fact that the movie apparently is like not even going to acknowledge Caesar, or the main character doesn't even know who Caesar is, feels weird to me. It's like that version of history doesn't make sense. Caesar should be like Jesus in that world, basically. And the writers, I don't remember what they wrote, but I remember that when I saw things that they wrote in the past, it wasn't like a vote of confidence.
I'm leery for that movie.
Yeah, and Matt Reeves not being the director, of course, makes me a little nervous too. But we'll see.
It also goes back to the John Wick thing. Like, you had a really brilliant little trilogy there. Why? What are we doing?
There's potential to do more. I like the fact that they have the different ape societies and stuff. I could see them continuing the story on. I'm worried about the people involved.
Yeah, I mean, you better do something different, of course. But like, again, you had a really, really good trilogy. Don't taint it. Cody, you're more Gavin Moon, $5. Thank you. Are you more surprised that you have a Saw film in your top 10 this year, or that an A24 film is your favorite horror movie 2 years in a row?
Probably the Saw movie. At A24, I had a weird relationship for a while, but they've slowly been courting me in the past couple of years. I might have just had a bad run where I was just picking the movies that ended up not being for me. Like when I thought of A24 for a long time, it was like the It Comes at Night, Men, like all these are like weird, like artsy movies that just the trailer look interesting, and then the movie is just not quite what they advertised. But you get the Maxine trilogy, you get Iron Claw, you get Talk to Me. There's a number of other ones that they've done that I've enjoyed. It doesn't surprise me too much. They've got a nice little track record with me. But yeah, having a Saw movie in my top 10, having a Saw movie in my top 30 wasn't on my bingo card this year. Bad Boys 4 apparently is coming out this year. I'll be excited for that whenever I see the trailer. I loved the third one. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't
remember it.
It's going to be interesting to see how the public reacts to Will Smith coming back. I still don't know quite if people are going to just hold that against him for the rest of his career or what's going on, but we'll find out. The only thing I can tell you, I know they're kicking themselves in the ass for calling the third one Bad Boys for Life, because you could have just easily put Bad Boys for life.
Civil War looks awesome. Trevor says that.
I haven't watched the trailer for it. That guy, it's the guy who made Men and Annihilation and
Ex Machina.
It feels, I love Ex Machina, but the premise of it feels like it could get overly political very quickly, and I'm a little leery about it.
Yeah, that's the thing that The Purge did so well. It like it was political without being political. Like, oh,
or the movie like The Hunt. Remember when The Hunt came out and it was a fucking minefield, and then you watch the movie and it's like, oh, they're making fun of both sides. That's refreshing.
Right.
Yeah. The Bike Riders. That was a movie that was supposed to come out this year. They got pushed to next year with Tom Hardy and
with
the guy that played Elvis, the biker gang.
Yeah.
Quiet Place Day One. Very curious on that.
Fucking prequel. Did you all see the trailer for the first Omen?
Yeah, I mean, I need to see more. It was an interesting trailer, but it was just kind of creepy images. The religious horror, demon possession type stuff. It just, especially after watching Exorcist Believer, it's like, what more is there to do with the Omen? What are we doing this for? Apparently, Twisters is coming out. I would expect that to be like a Independence Day resurgence, but we'll see.
Yeah, wait a minute. Half that crew's dead.
Oh, Fede Alvarez, Alien Romulus.
Oh,
yeah, that's high up there.
Where does that take place in the storyline, the franchise?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know much about it story wise, but Fede Alvarez and Alien, I'm like, yes, thank you, yes, please. Beetlejuice 2. You excited for that one?
I need footage. I need something.
I don't care for Tim Burton, but of the like 4 or 5 movies that I do like by him, Beetlejuice is one of them. So I'd be curious to check it out. But that also falls into that like way too fucking late.
Yeah, it's been 40 years for fuck's sake. Like, what?
I mean, a lot of the cast coming back is interesting. Jenna Ortega is going to fit right in because of her like Wednesday flavor. But yeah,
Johnny Depp, like what?
Johnny Depp's in it?
Apparently. Did I misread?
You might have. I don't see his name anywhere.
Oh, that might have been a cock tease.
Yeah, Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara coming back. You got Jenna Ortega, of course, Michael Keaton.
So Devin says that the Alien movie takes place between 1 and 2.
I'll take it. While Ripley's asleep. Saw 11. I'm excited, but also I'm cautiously optimistic because we're back to the year turnaround, and the writers of Saw X are not writing this one.
So Devin says Johnny Depp is Beetlejuice's brother.
Oh, man. I don't like what Johnny Depp does.
He likes makeup. He really likes makeup.
Dude, he's just fucking weird and not in an appealing way. Like, I rewatched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory last month, and I was like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
What about the Kevin Smith movies that he was just like, yeah, I'll put a nose on and fuck around?
Joker, Folie à Deux.
Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah, it's like French for something to do with like a play on words because him and Harley Quinn. I don't know exactly what the translation is, but it's like it's supposed to be a musical.
No.
Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn.
No. It's not a sequel to the Todd Phillips one, is it?
Yeah. You never heard of it?
I didn't know it was a musical.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the whole movie is a musical, or if there's going to be musical elements. That's what I'm worried about because I don't really care for musicals, and I don't want a full musical. It's such a
tonal shift.
Yeah. I'm nervous about that one. And Joker doesn't feel like a movie that's appropriate to make a sequel out of, but we'll see. I think that movie kind of the ambiguity.
Driver.
Well, the ambiguity of like, is it all in his head or whatever by the end of it is going to be broken by a sequel. I would imagine where they answer the question. Smile 2, curious about that.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah.
Gladiator 2.
Fuck what?
Yeah, it's got a lot of fucking people in it too. It's about Russell Crowe's son, Lucius or whatever. Connie Nielsen's coming back as the mom. Denzel
Wow.
Washington and Pedro Pascal are in them.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
So that I'm curious, but man, Ridley, I haven't seen Napoleon. I have not heard very many good things
I
about it,
heard
but
somebody said it was Joaquin Phoenix's worst part ever. I was like, what?
I don't know. I haven't heard many good things, but Ridley Scott has not made the only movie that he has made in like the last 20 years that I have liked is The Martian. So his name is not one that sells tickets for me, despite his great history, of course.
Prometheus hater.
Yeah. Can I have an alien movie, please? Take this fucking life and creation shit to a different franchise.
Excited for Godzilla X Kong? No, 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 no. How does Toho allow Godzilla -1 and then Godzilla X Kong within like fucking 5 months of each other?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That it's going to exemplify the difference between a good Godzilla movie and then
Yeah.
what America does with it, where it's like, give him a fucking club and let him run at the screen.
We already had Rampage. Like,
Looks
stop.
dumb as shit.
Yeah,
Let's see here.
wasn't the last one where like they went to the center of the earth or whatever like?
Yeah,
Oh
the Untitled Karate Kid movie. I need to know more about that one.
yeah.
Sonic 3. I'm worried without Jim Carrey because he's the best part of
Oh
those
yeah.
movies. But I liked the first two, especially the second one. There's Nosferatu, and there's the end of the list. So yeah, there's like any year, the best movies of the year are going to be movies we don't even know about yet.
Yeah.
But Maxine, I'm pretty confident is my number one right now.
Untitled Jordan Peele. Well, give me a title.
Yeah, I need to
give me a
know more.
synopsis.
And Jordan Peele, he's one of those actors. He's one of those filmmakers that I will always be there day one out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
But his bad and average isn't great for me. I love Get Out. Don't like Us whatsoever. Nope was good, but it was a lesser version of the problem with Us, where I feel like his metaphoric side takes over the surface level story. Like when you get into Nope and it's like, oh, the alien's like a camera, and if you look at it, it's like looking into fame, and then he tries to kill. It's like, okay, you're being a little too smart.
Yeah, that monkey shit in the TV show is just like, oh, the shoes standing on a table. Like, yeah, all right. I feel like he's Jordan Peele. Listen, I love Get Out. I'm flip flop with you on Us and Nope. I was like, there you go. That's exactly what I was gonna say. He's this generation's M. Night, as far as I'm concerned. I love Get Out. I enjoyed Us and Nope. I was like, uh oh.
Yeah.
The taste is getting old with me. But yeah, like I couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, I was going to say it, you kind of. But yeah, he's this generation's M. Night, as far as I'm concerned. All this hype, and it's just like, whoa, 3 movies. He's made 3 movies.
Yeah, you remember when Get Out came out, and everybody's like, are we ready to admit that he's the next Carpenter? And it was like, bitch, he's made 1 film. Get off the dick.
Yeah, give me his Escape to New York before we.
Yeah.
Yikes. Get Out, Nope, Us.
That's the proper order.
Yeah.
Us is ambitious. There's things about Us, but that movie just crumbles under its logic. Once you start thinking about certain things, it's like that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like you're thinking your metaphor is much stronger than it is, and it's making everything like just logically fall apart.
I think the horror of the first 2 acts is strong enough for me.
Do you remember when we changed Brian's mind on that movie within like 5 minutes? Do you remember that?
No,
because you were much lower on it when you first saw it. You must have rewatched it or you're remembering it differently or something. But yeah, when we got out of the theater, both of us were like, not for me. That didn't work. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. And then Brian chimes in. He's like, that was really good. I think it was actually better than Get Out. And we were like, what the fuck? What about this? And he's like, you got a point. Fuck this movie. And it was like, woo! Changed his mind in like 2 messages.
Sky Jaws. Yeah. Yeah, I certainly have watched Us. I watched Us before I watched Nope, and
Same.
the 3rd act, flimsy, but I enjoyed like when they're just standing in the driveway and
There's
the
element
shadow
the
of
home
yeah,
invasion
yeah,
side of it, I think, is really well
right,
done. It's
right.
when all the metaphors come
The
out.
underground shit, it's just like, mm,
Yeah. Whatever you do up top, they do the same thing down below. And I'm like, well, what if they
yeah.
get into a fucking car or a plane? You just launch across the hallway. How
Just
fucking long are these hallways? Where did
drag
you
it
get all
across the
these
ceiling.
jumpsuits and scissors? Why are there bunnies everywhere? And how the fuck are you able to eat those raw and survive? Like, I have questions, Mr. Peel. All a metaphor.
Yeah, Richard, that's exactly, on my second viewing, that's how I felt about it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the abysmal last third ruins the first 2/3. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for me, the more I've rewatched it, it's like that side of the movie takes over even more, where it's just like,
Mm,
no.
that's understandable, yeah. But yeah, like, the fact that we're, like, rolling the red carpet out for Jordan Peele, I'm like, "Ooh." Only 3 movies, one of which is pristine. Uh, not perfect, although pristine, I think, means perfect, so I'll just
It's close. It's
retract.
close. It's
Yeah,
simpler. It's not bogged down by all these wild fucking ambitious ideas.
yeah, and the thing was everybody's like, "Oh, this feels like classic Twilight Zone," and then Jordan Peele hosted the resurgence of the show, and it was just like, "Dude, get away from the Twilight Zone shit." Just because somebody said that Get
Mhm,
Out felt like it, doesn't mean you have to be the new Twilight Zone guy,
mhm.
literally. But, yeah, untitled Jordan Peele project, I need a bit more than just Jordan Peele showing up. I mean, I can't I remember when I thought Jordan Peele was directing the new Candyman, I was like, "Hmm, interesting," but,
I think people still think he directed that
yeah,
fucking movie.
Jordan Peele presents. Oh, okay.
Mhm. Hopefully we get They Follow this year too.
Is that a sequel to They Live?
It Follows.
Oh, okay. What's up, Kitty? How are you doing? What the hell time is it where you are? Oh, it's early morning. Good morning. What's the 3rd time? What?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know. Uh, yes. Emily and I just watched it 2 nights ago. It's in the house.
It's in my house too.
Clue, the 4K?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, watch unfortunately, the Blu-ray has all the special features, but not unfortunately, but, it's really interesting to see the behind the scenes stuff, like, uh really good transfer, really good time. Um, I don't care. How about that, Dice? I don't care who the fuck directed it. I just wanna be entertained. American Psycho, directed by a woman. For all the red pill guys that are like, "Oh, Patrick Bateman." Yeah, woman directed that movie. Oh, okay. Twilight Zone. Got it. Yeah, so that is 3+ hours worth of Cody and I, the CNC Movie Factory, talking about 2023 in film, the ups, the downs, and the surprises. Cody, what your complete 2023 ranking is this weekend, if you're up to it?
Yeah, I've had a ton of shit this week, so if haven't been visiting my channel, you got the top 10 worst, the top 10 best that I just released today. I did the most surprising and most disappointing together. I ranked all the comic book films of 2023. I ranked all the horror films of 2023, of which there were 46 that I saw. And at some point tomorrow, you'll have my review of Night Swim. Spoiler alert, it's January.
The best
Um,
movie of 2024 so far.
yeah, and so still coming down the pipe is my ranking of all as of right now, 120. I might watch a few more, but 120 or plus movies that I saw in 2023, and then my most anticipated movies of 2024. And there's also some weird random screening of The Beekeeper on Saturday that I'm going to try to go see. The new Jason Statham, David Ayer movie. A little bit more hope for that than I did for Night Swim, but at some point next week you'll get that. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on my energy level and how many fucks I have to give this weekend. I've been cranking out just 2023 rankings over and over and over and over and over again. So I don't know when I'll get to the big fat ass one edited. It's probably going to be. I mean, there's 3 hours last year and it was 86 movies. So I would probably bet this one's going to be at least 4. So that's going to be like 5 hours of shooting plus editing. It's probably going to be something I'm going to work on for a number of days. So
yeah,
when I get it done.
For the record, I didn't realize how much 2023 content you had when I asked you to do this, but I appreciate you being here. Lee, $2 super chat. Thank you. Jordan Peele, People Under Stairs remake. Is that a question or is that the good old brought to you by credit?
Which I think he's a perfect fit for if he would have directed it. I said that years before they even announced it, that I never really liked the People Under the Stairs. I've watched it multiple times.
Right.
I just don't get it. But especially the subtext and everything, I was like, Jordan Peele would be interesting to see him do a modern remake of this. And I guess somebody heard me because then they've been talking about it and it's supposedly, stamped where it's going to happen, but he's just a producer.
So the director was Nia DaCosta.
Yeah, Marvel fucked her over pretty bad. She was the director for the Marvels, and they took her movie and retooled it and did this and that, and then the movie failed, and then Bob Iger comes out and he's like, you know what the problem with the Marvels was? Not enough studio producer oversight. And there wasn't enough producers on set. And I'm like, you really just threw the director under the bus? Like, she fucked it all up?
Yeah. Yeah, Marvel's...
I don't think they even let her do press on the movie or they let her come to the premiere. There was something weird. They really did her rough.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are asking if you're doing it live.
No, I don't have the energy to do it live. I can't do it the way that Sean did it. I tried doing it live last year. Last year, I tried recording it, and then my audio got fucked up. And so I then tried to do it live, and then my internet took a shit 2 hours in. And so then I did it a third time and just compiled footage of the live stream with all the super chats cut out. And then I re-recorded the last hour. So yeah, I'm just going to record it. I can't do it live because I love you guys for it, but super chats go bananas when I go live. And if I try to rank 120 plus movies plus answer super chats and then make the chat feel like they actually are a part of everything, I'll be live as long as Sean was. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's a chore.
Yeah, you'll lose quality by that point. I'll be like, number 53 is this. It was okay because number 52 is that because it was number 51.
Oh, like my content.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard's fired up, but yeah, it's a better choice to do it as a video, especially when you're by yourself. I mean, Sean was doing it with the missus, and you need somebody to bounce shit off of. At a certain point, you're like, all right,
dude, when we do the 31 on 31 debriefs and we go past 4 hours, like we're like, Brian, we're only on number 20.
Yeah. Can you not give us a 45-minute summary on number 29? Which that I watched that stream back. I need to apologize. When Sean and I were going back and forth about his discomfort, you were trying so hard to get us along, and I had so many like comedic things I wanted to do, and Sean and I were going back and forth about his comfort level with family loving, to not get clipped, and you like, I would watch it. I'm like, oh, I'm stepping all over Cody. Didn't realize it live, but
it's all good.
I'm sure you knew, but I wanted to make sure it was documented that I didn't mean to do that. Oh wait, Desi, $5 super chat. Thank you. Happy late evening. Happy New Year to both you
as well.
Great job on the end of the year content. Saw X, a 2023 MVP. Who knew? Yeah.
Telling you.
Devin, $5 super chat. Thank you. Unpopular opinion. I'm looking forward to Shelby Oaks.
Is that an unpopular opinion? I don't know. I guess maybe Stuckman has more haters than I thought he did, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that out of mere curiosity. You don't really know enough about it. It's just the fact that it's Stuckman's movie is what has me interested.
Brian, 5 words or less. Yeah, I need more. Like it's the same thing as anything. I don't know. I mean, what do we have to go on? His YouTube content, and his YouTube content is him talking about other people's content. So,
Stuckman.
Yeah,
it's something about like a true story of like these paranormal investigators. The movie's going to have a found footage element to it. I know some of the cast, like Keith David's in there. Beyond that, I don't really know. There's no trailer or anything for it. I don't know where they're in it in post production, so I don't even know when this year it's going to come out. It would be really neat if he got it done to where it was one of the movies at Fantastic Fest, since he's like a regular attendee. That would be cool, but I have no idea. That's all I know about it. So until I see a trailer, I can't fully judge. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, Devin, I roasted him a while back, and he was a really good sport about it. So yeah, he's good people as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have kind of turned on him since he has decided not to do negative reviews anymore. He only does videos if he likes the movie, which I get a side of that, because as a viewer, I've watched less of his content because I already know if the video's there, he liked the movie a lot. If it's not there, he didn't like it. And I felt him going a lot easier on movies nowadays. And I crave kind of that brutal honesty that I give. But
yeah,
I understand his motivation for not wanting to do that. It's
crossed over, and he doesn't want to ruffle feathers too much.
Yeah,
I get it.
I get it too. I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing if I was in his shoes.
I would. But yeah, I mean, everybody's built differently. I feel like I can't. If you think I sucked, I can't do better if you don't tell me what sucked about me. So, to each their own. He's a good dude. I have no complaints about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made fun
he's
of
a
him.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
I met him.
Yeah, you've met
last
him
year, so he's a nice guy.
Troy, $5 super chat. Thank you. Might be running long, Lomax. We may be running long, but please listen to my 30-minute essay on why Critters 4 is an exquisite experience.
It's not all Brian. We just give Brian a lot of shit. But what we run into trouble with is that I usually try to play like host, and I try to like throw each, especially when we're in like the bottom 10. I try to throw it to different people. And I'm like, all right, anybody got any extra thoughts? And we get into this rut where all 4 of us need to be heard on every movie. And sometimes I kind of wish like one person would take this one person would take this one, and we could at least cruise through some of the shit. But we get in trouble with that. I'm like, anybody else got anything to thought? Well, I haven't spoke yet. And then I'm like, okay. What's your thoughts on Wrong Turn 5?
Yeah, every now and again it's like, you just go. I don't give a shit.
CP's the only one that does that actively. He's like, next. No thoughts. What he said. Next.
Yeah.
And then Brian does that actively, like during the last 45 minutes or so, because by then he's just fucking done.
Let's do it at 3 a.m.
Yeah, unless Nolan's in there somewhere. He's like, you've heard, my thoughts. Just fucking next.
Did you see he pumped out a Dracula whatever? He's secretly doing his 31 already. When he was talking about the Hammer horror Draculas, and I'm like, what are you doing, Brian? We're not doing that this year.
He's doing what I did when I started reviewing Wrong Turn and shit. I was like, let me go ahead and get the homework out of the way.
Yeah. The best part of the debriefs are the rants, the banter, etc. When it goes long, it adds to the experience for me personally. Probably worse for the host.
It's always fun, but it's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
When you look and we're only like 10 movies in and we're already 2.5 hours through, I'm like, oh God, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're always fun. That's always kind of the highlight.
I can totally empathize with you. Like being the host, you don't really get to have fun because you're like you're all hands on deck with everything. I mean, I enjoy the debriefs because I get to let my hair down a little bit, but it sucks. I completely empathize with the problem that you have. It's make sure you let Cody know with a colorful chat, just the work that he puts into everything that we do and how much you appreciate it.
They do.
I know they do, but just tell them I sent you this time. All right, so Cody, a bunch of 2023 and the first horror of 2024 content coming up. I may or may not do my 45 movies that I saw of 2023.
You better do it, you bitch.
It's funny. I have like 3 days good with my throat, and then 1 day bad, and then 3 days like I'm getting back. I made it 3 hours through this. Emily and I, we want to, like, she's I'm bending to her schedule at all times, like the way it should be. We're gonna discuss Five Nights at Freddy's whenever she gets a chance. She finally watched Threads. We're gonna discuss that.
What's that?
It is right in line with the rest of my Who Would Like
Oh,
That.
one of your fucking movies. Okay.
Nuclear war in Britain. Yeah. Oh, one of your fucking rape movies. I got it.
One of the things I have to ask for the key to go and find in the video store.
Keep it in the top drawer.
Yeah.
Dice, we were actually contemplating asking you when you get better, if you're up for it, we'll get you in there for that. If you'd like to take part. I know Emily doesn't mind extra people. She doesn't like the spotlight so much. Threads is the future. Heartwarming, Phil. Yeah, it's warming, all right. Ugh. Found Cody's channel when he reviewed season 3 of Cobra Kai. You inspire me with how hard you grind. You deserve all success.
Thank you. It's always interesting to hear the videos that
where they found
me on, because it's always something random.
Yeah. That's awesome, Dice. Yeah, keep the line open. The invite will be inbound. All right. So, anything else, Cody?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. It's so keep your ear to the ground. I'll be here somewhere at some point. And thank you everybody for not only partaking in the live stream, but taking part in the chat. All the super chats. Thank you so much. James, star of the show with the $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And obviously, thank you, Cody, for bringing 95% of the audience with you. Maybe more.
Good minions.
Yes. And it's good to be back on a camera and talking and BSing. Hopefully 2024 is a more healthy year for yours truly, but
you're fucking due for one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I keep having to like temper Rudy down. I'm like, it's normal, dude. It's okay. He's always like on the brink of death sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize how much I fucked up. My blood oxygen was below 70%. And that's really that you can get brain damage from that. Normally I go to the hospital. I was like, it's just a flu. I'm fine. I didn't realize how much trouble I was in.
You ain't gotta tell me, man. 2023 was the year of, oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Well, yeah, not to bring up any health issues publicly, but yeah, it's frightening. It's frightening when you're like, I don't feel well, and my brain is fine, but my body's like, no, we need a break. But yeah, it's I'm coming back. Mentally, I'm in a good place. So there's that. For the next couple of months, I will try to be as creative as possible. Again,
translation, you get 2 videos.
75 trailers, though. Cody, you have the switch. So thank you, everybody, once again. We'll see you in the near future.
And we don't have an outro because he's lazy as fuck. So we click end stream.